clobbering time.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Welcome, friends, to Clobbering Times Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk. This is, of course, Clobbering Times number 452 on YouTube, 1,152 overall. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We always, of course, honor our dear departed friend Mark C. that we miss very much. And so we talk comics. We'll talk some other stuff too, of course, but because he liked other things as well. But of course, the show's dedicated to him, and we'll definitely looking forward to talking some comics tonight with our distinguished guest. Before we welcome our great guest and say hello to him, I want to say we've got my first officers hanging out with us tonight as well. And I always love that. The most wonderful first officer in the fleet, Commander R.M. Briggs. So good to see you here, number one.
I love you, Captain. So good to see you. And
we indeed. And before we do our show notes and our shout outs and stuff, let's say hello to our distinguished guest, the great, hungry for a cessation of crap Marvel flicks, aka better known as Hungry Boy. Welcome, my friend, to your Clobbering Times debut.
Well, hello, Clobby. How you doing, Clobby? It's so wonderful to be here on the Marksy Comic Show. And the Clobberers, there's no place that they would rather go than to be with you on Marksy's Comic Show.
Wow. Well
HB, take a bow.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that one, folks, as much as I did. That is nice. Nicely done, buddy.
Well, it's also the Irish tradition of showing respect to those we would have liked to have met but never got to. You know?
Yes.
And you know how broken up I was when I heard you explaining what Mark C meant to you, and I've got a couple of those people in my life too. So a lot of what I'll be talking about today would be in honor of that fine gentleman who I would have liked to have met, and I hope that at some point he saw some of my art and enjoyed it. And from what you say, he was exactly the kind of person that kept a lot of us pushing the pencil past 12 midnight and past 12 hours in a workday.
Absolutely. He loved comic book art. He was an artist himself, a very good artist. And yes, for those who wonder who we're speaking of, this show is eternally now named after a very dear friend of mine that used to do shows with me here on this very channel. He was a big comic book fan and someone that I knew in real life as a friend. And his name was, we called him Mark C. And unfortunately, back in the in early 2021. Unfortunately, lost him at a very, very young age of not even 48 yet. And so the show will always be named after him. He loved comics. We had a lot of did a lot of fun shows together and stuff. And he even bought comics for me when he was a youngster, when I was when I owned a comic shop back in the 80s. So those, just for those who don't know, that's what Hungry Boy's talking about there. Mark C. So it's always going to be Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk here. Even if we slip and throw occasionally something else, other topic in there a little bit, but it's always going to have to come back to comic books on Monday night. So, let's say some hellos. First of all, show notes, of course. I guess I'll be here. I don't know if I'm going to be on the round table with Loki Wednesday or not. I don't think I'm going to make that, but I'm going to be on Wednesday night for the wild card, whatever that may be. I have an idea that may bring a topic in, but I'm not sure yet. And of course, Thursday night, the clubhouse will be back in session, and we hope our buddy Mark D with the C will join us. Now, our good friend Mark D with the C's been on an away mission. He's back. We all wished him happy anniversary this past week, and he's back. He's a little bit under the weather. Took a trip, and that can always be exhausting. So, without going into specifics, he'll be okay, but he's just a bit under the weather. We wish him speedy recovery, buddy. Hope you feel better soon. If you're even hearing this,
a Speedy Gonzalez recovery.
Yes. Our chief engineer. He's a great part of this show and a great friend of this show, and we hope he is feeling better. Let's see. Our great friend Chris Persia was not able to stay tonight, folks. Nevertheless, we always honor our marvelous wrenches, and so big shout out to the great Vindicator Wrench of the North, Chris Persia.
And he's my meat pie buddy.
Oh, there you go. We love Chris, and he's fantastic. Like I said, he could not stay, but he always does so much for us, and so whether
Love
here
you,
or
honey.
not.
Thank you for the poster tonight out on social media, the poster for this evening's festivities.
Always great. We appreciate it.
Beautiful as always. Thank you so much, honey. Mwah.
Thank you. And of course, I don't know if he's popped in yet, but we still acknowledge the great Bronze Wrencher all the time there at K. Really appreciate him as well. And I did see the great Iron Wrencher here, the great Wrencher of Iron, D. Bud Martin. So
D. Bud Martin!
Shout out to the
Hashtag Tuska was robbed.
Indeed. Oh, there you go. He loves them some Tuska. So yes, the Wrencher Avengers is we're going to may start calling them now for no reason all of a sudden. So
that's a good one.
That'll work for them. Because they're the fantastic wrenchers. I don't know, the Wrencher Avengers. We'll think of something. But anyway, so let's say some hellos to our fantastic friends who are with us.
Let's do it.
Let me run the chat back here because it keeps jumping on. J-Man's here tonight. Hey, J-Man, buddy, I had a great time hanging out with you guys. Before Saturday Night Star Trek, I went on with our good buddy J-Man on his channel to talk a little Black Adam, to review it with him and the great Sean and Steven. And thank you for having me on there, buddy. I really, really am honored to have been on there and appreciate it. A lot of fun.
Follow Jay.
Follow Jay. Please go to Jay's channel and subscribe. Absolutely. The great Lord Thothacer, LT, back in business. It's been a while since he's been around, but I got to hang out with him on Nick's channel the other night on Friday Night Comic Shop Talk, reviewing some comics with him, and it was so much fun hanging out with him again. Avon lives, and long live the Legion, buddy, and a shout out to the lovely Lady Thoth.
Feels good to say that again, hey? And it feels good to hear his voice.
Yes.
And for him to be a part of the conversation.
Right.
He's so important to us, and we were really missing him. So LT and Mrs. LT.
Welcome back, LT.
And Lady Mayotte, his wife.
Indeedishness. Always. Shout out to our new friend, Michelle O'Rourke Johansson. It is good to see you, my dear. Thank you for popping in.
Hello.
We appreciate you. Absolutely. Phantom Outsiders here. Just kidding, Phantom. Phantom Outsider was a man, and he might still even be a man. I'm sorry. That's no one's judging.
Like an eagle.
Can I make a confession about Fanty, Clubby?
Sure, you may.
Because of our comic book background, I keep seeing him in that Stetson hat of the Phantom Stranger all the time in my head.
It's funny you mentioned that because I may make a picture with him one day. It'll definitely be the Phantom Stranger. Let's face it, who is stranger than Fanty?
This is true. This is true.
Just saying. And I don't know if I was about to say she's my, but I don't know if it's she or he. I'm sorry, but lemon pie. So hello, lemon pie. I was going to sing the song, but I don't know how to go about it. But lemon pie, thank you for being here. It's great to see you.
Lemon.
My bud, Classic Comics is here. Classic Comics. I hung out with him on his show. He's just getting started streaming, folks. If anybody can find a link to his channel, he's just getting started. We did a stream last night. Classic. Our friend Steve Mitchell tried to listen to us when we were on last night. He informs me that it said private, so that stream was privated. I don't know if you did that on purpose or whatever. Ooh. But if not, you can go to YouTube and make it public if you so choose. But I enjoyed hanging out with you last night, my friend, and appreciate it. It was an honor to be there. We were just reviewing Black Adam. And there's a super chat from him that says, thanks for joining me Sunday night, Clobby. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate that. It was an honor. And
he's good people, isn't he?
He is a good
he's
fellow.
He's so fun to hang out with.
He joins us on the clubhouse at Loki's. Clubhouse. Loki's Comic Roundtable on occasion.
Yeah,
and it's good hanging with you, Classic. So good fellow.
He's a cool cat.
And he got to go meet Loki and the gang and Mexican Iron Man and all those folks this past weekend on a big was it Geekapalooza or whatever in Dallas something. So cool stuff.
Oh, so a huge meetup, and he
got
a big
to meet everyone.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Cool stuff with our good buddy Loki. Brian Hepburn. Hello there, my friend. Good to see you. Kal-El, super buddy. What's up?
Real soap.
Good to see you, man. Let's see whom else is here. Gwagnar. All righty. Good to see you, Gwag. Let's see here. Hang on. Apollome's Minion.
And the pepperoni.
I want a do-over. Oh, never mind. I think she can go with it. We'll let it stand.
I think Simi heard us.
I hope so. The whole thing heard us. Let's see here. Who else bees here? Up in Das Wolfen. Hello.
Das Wolfen. And Cloud Sailing is here. Or Sailing, sorry.
Claude, hey, hello there. Trevor Cunningham also. Hey there.
Hey,
good
Trevor.
to see you. Dave G Sound. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Sound.
Let's see here. Almost. Do we got everybody? Hang on. Hang on, everybody. I've got to. We made it private afterwards. Planning to cut. Okay, got you covered. I see what you see. Okie dokie. Got you. That's just I hear you, man. Good. Okay, well, everybody, let's see here. We're gonna talk. We're gonna avail ourselves of the chance to talk with our great friend Hungry Boy. I will say, but I will start out. Maybe I'll just save this bitching for this bitching I have to do about something for Wednesday night.
Do it now. Rip the Band-Aid off the gangrene, man. Do it.
It's it's not that. I mean, it's not that much. Well, it's a little bitching. It's I don't even know how many Doctor Who fans we have with us tonight.
Present and accounted for.
Okie dokie. Well, there have been Doctor Who comments.
Feel free to raise your hand in the chat and listen to the captain. Let her rip with his disgruntled thoughts, and you can feel free to join in.
Well, I'm just wondering, because. There have been Doctor Who comic books, so it sort of falls in line with comics talk, right? So there have been Doctor Who comics. There have been some comics. So anyway, for those who don't know, I am the Doctor, says J-Man. Well, last night, first of all, I've been a Doctor Who fan for 40 years plus, maybe 41. It's a ballpark up in there because I'm a little fuzzy on that first time I caught a snowy picture out of a Mississippi long-range station of part 2 or 1 or 2 of Genesis of the Daleks for my first time. I am a Pertwee guy, says Brian. Hey, I love Pertwee, but Tom Baker's my favorite. But
Troughton always.
I love Troughton. I mean, look. I mean, to me, Tom Baker is usually people go with their first. With Doctor Who most of the time, but not always. But I love Patrick Troughton, so he's fantastic. So is John Pertwee. I mean, again, I'm one of those. I don't, even though I might say one is my favorite thing about the show is that there are multiple doctors and they're all great. Well, they were all great. They were all great until. They were all great. Even one who had terrible scripts was still great. Peter Capaldi was a great actor, but they wrote his doctor terribly. So anyway, the show, to have something, I love Doctor Who very, very, very close to how much I love Star Trek, and you all know how much I love that, which I love very much, and I love Star Trek just about as much as I love comics, and those are some of my favorite things in life, are Doctor Who and Star Trek and comics and all those things. It's tough to put them in a particular order or prioritize them. I just love them. They're my geekness, okay? And it's a very, very high priority in my geekness, and I've love it. The original classic series the most, the first 26 years, but I even like the first big chunk of when it got brought back, the revival from 2005 up to about 2013. So even warts and all, I even love that. Had its faults, but I love it. Now again, I prefer classic era a little bit more. I'll admit it. Well, Star Trek, Blake 7, Dr. Beverly. Yeah, look, I love Blake 7 as much as I love Star Trek and Doctor Who. So if I had to prioritize them, maybe Star Trek might be the most important thing. Comics might be the first thing. So, I mean, it's just, I'm not even going to put them in order. I'll never put those in order. I'll just say I love them, all right? But Doctor Who's right up there. And we've had Star Trek destroyed before. Star Trek was, aside from what's been done to a lot of my favorite comics, if you want to just call it, visual, like media, television or movie media, Star Trek was the first one to really be destroyed. I mean, absolutely annihilated. Then Star Wars got the treatment, which I don't love Star Wars quite as much as Star Trek, but I love it. But then it was Doctor Who.
Yes.
They were
starting the seeds for that early on, though, before they destroyed Star Trek. Bobby. Earlier, I mean, what they did to the Silurians, that was kind of unforgivable. When you compare the Pertwee Silurians to
they made mistakes, but the show was still good.
Yeah, good point.
No, they were. That's sort of like the way they screw with things in comics. After years and years of continuity, and some writers will come along and just ditch things and screw around with them. Yeah, and the way they would do, even in later Berman Treks, stuff like in TNG or DS9, where they would do things that were totally contradicting Roddenberry sometimes, but you still like the show. You just didn't like them doing that. That was things they've done it in Doctor Who a lot of times. So Russell T Davies did a lot of things I didn't like. But there's a big fundamental difference from that doing things in episodes I don't like on a show that I still like than what Jar Jar Abrams and Les Moonves did to Star Trek. And then even Stephen Moffat, who had turned the show to crap with the Capaldi era, with just writing the character so terribly. And I love Capaldi as an actor, but sorry. I think he had a lot of terrible scripts, and I just don't like the way they wrote him. It's a shame too, because he is just a terrific actor. So, but I can take that, Hungry Boy. For example, I can accept. I go, I wish maybe it'll get better. Because see, in that it could get better. They could come back the next year and get better writing. Okay, get a new showrunner might make it better, right? But not when someone comes along like Chibi, BBC, and Chris Chibnall. Chibi Boy comes along and fundamentally destroy. I mean, he makes Moffat. He made me miss Moffat. And I was mad at Moffat, dude.
There's a joke I had a couple of years ago, Clubby, where I said Chibble Wibble even made Grand Moffat Tarkin look good.
Yes, and that's not easy because Moffat was a better writer than a showrunner.
Yeah.
When he was writing scripts and not running the damn show, it was better. But still,
shades of Jim Lee, right?
Huh? Yeah, of course, I never was a Jim Lee fan myself, but I hear what you're saying.
The freelancer versus showrunner, yeah.
Yeah, he's just a better writer. He wrote some good stuff. I mean, like I say, Sherlock was good the first couple of years. Stuff like that. But anyway, and Coupling, that was a great show. So anyway, Chibi comes along and decides to. I'm sorry, folks. You can call me what you want to call me. The doctor's a man. Chibba Wibble. I don't know. The doctor's a man. I'm going to be controversial here. I've been saying it since 2017. The doctor is a man. What? I know, sexism. Pure and simple. Pure and simple from the 8th dimension.
The lady gaspeth.
The doctor was a man for 2,000 years. I know. Look, in the fantasy concept of Doctor Who, you could make the case like, well, why can't he? Time Lords could change shapes, stuff like that. Yeah, well, why didn't he all that time? So, in other words, in order to facilitate that, Jim will ruin. He later, because people were telling him, look, he's changed into a man all those other times. Why did he accidentally just suddenly change into a woman for no reason? That's why he created the disgusting filth of the timeless children. That's what he did that for. Because people were giving him shit about it. Look, Time Lords, and of course, Moffat did help him set some of that stupid shit up. But I'm sorry. And by the way, that's not just me being a sexist. There are plenty of lady Doctor Who fans that like the fact that the doctor was a man. I know that's a shocker. But some women like to watch the show with a male lead. I know. Isn't that horrible? For example, Raquel here would like Star Trek a whole lot better if Kirk were a woman, right? And if Spock were a woman.
No.
Isn't that right? Is that wrong? Wait a minute. Are you saying Star Trek wouldn't have been a better show if Kirk and Spock hadn't been women? Are you saying you like watching the show with a male lead is what you're trying to tell me?
Clubby, wasn't the 1970s shipping of Kirk and Spock bad enough? You have to go here.
Enough. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to give an example how many well-adjusted lady fans of many shows have no problem with watching shows with a male lead, just as many men don't mind watching shows with a female lead. Wait a minute here.
The qualifier, well-adjusted. We have to pay attention to the qualifier, folks.
Yes. So anyway, they bring in, not only do they change the sex of the character for political reasons. We don't get political on this show, folks. I'm just saying, but that was political. Not only do they do that in 2017, but if you don't like it, you're a sexist pig. It cannot be any other. There's no other answer, which means a lot of women are sexist pigs against women because they didn't like it either. But that's, whatever. That's where we are right now as a society. And then, when everything in your show is based on his agenda, you get garbage because that's what Chibi is. He's an absolute piece of garbage. And not only is bad enough that they do change the sex of the doctor, they cast the worst actor you could ever imagine. I'm not even going to say actress because that would be sexist. Jodie Whittaker's a plank who came out, by the way, and insulted the old show. She said they asked her, did she do any research watching the old series, like with Tom Baker and some of the old episodes? She said no, because it's just a bunch of white men sexism. The show was just a bunch of, So she's trash. So,
well, can I add something about Jodie, please?
If you must.
I must. Before I had any inkling that she was going to take the reins of our favorite Gallifreyan, I tried to watch a show called Broadchurch. She was the co-star of Broadchurch. And I thought, who is this unflavored bowl of gruel in a gray bowl sitting on a gray tarpaulin in the middle of a field of unflavored oatmeal?
That's a good way to put it, because everyone calls her the plank. So you just did it much more eloquently. Well done, incidentally. So she sucks, but again, it's not even her though, dude. It's just that's bad enough. She's terrible. She thinks playing the doctor is making faces. She tries to do this pale, pale imitation of David Tennant and Matt Smith. Like she thinks making dumb faces and wisecracks as amounts to playing.
It feels like a caricature, though. It feels like she's mocking what Tennant did.
Because she's just crap.
I don't think she even imagination, and that's something people are born with, which I get in trouble for saying. And this is where you get in trouble for saying that the doctor should be a male, all right? And you have your logistic reasons and plot reasons for that. I have been getting in trouble for decades for saying talent is like height. It's something you're born with. Imagination is like height. It's something you're born with. And if you have a lack in that area, then you acquire skill to compensate.
It's a fair call. Well, in that case, Chibi and Jody have no talent. What? So ever. By the way, Chibi wrote a couple of episodes that were, he wrote a David Tennant episode, which was one of the shittiest ones ever, 42.
You saying they're short?
Uh-huh.
I'm kidding.
I'm short on patience.
Just teasing Hungry Boy.
Okay.
Okay. Short on patience with Jody.
Chibi's 3 episodes he wrote were dog crap for the most part. So he's a shitty writer. People like his show Broadchurch. Good. I wish he'd have stayed doing it forever. So he gets Doctor Who, claims to be a Doctor Who fan, but he gets hold of it. There's even footage of him on an old show as a kid, like one of those talk shows as a young kid, going on Doctor Who, trashing the J&T era, which granted had some criticism, but his criticisms were dumb because he is, and he trashed Pip and Jane Baker, who were way better writers than he ever was, by the way. Anyway, so here we get some of the worst episodes ever. Even if I was going to go, all right, if she's any good, I'll give her a chance, even though I'm totally against this change. And if they picked a really good actress, it would have been tougher to be critical, but he made it easy for us. We picked a terrible actress. She's horrible. Yes. And then he had the most unbelievably idiotic stories like Rosa. And I'm just not going to go into all that. He did garbage stories, but I watched it all until The Timeless Children, when he did a story that completely dumped all over the 50 years, 55 at that point, like 54, 50-something years of history and flushed it down the toilet. I mean, there were people doing video. My buddy Noel of the TARDIS Zone, shout out to Noel. He was in tears that show that night after The Timeless Children aired. A lot of people were just as angry as they can be with this filthy piece of garbage. Not Sub Rosa, it was worse. It was called Rosa is Worse Than Sub Rosa. Sub Rosa is not good. That's a terrible episode of TNG. The episode Rosa of Doctor Who, and I'm not going to go into it here because it's controversial, is worse. Is worse. Trust me. Worse. Anyway, and more disgusting, if you believe it.
More disgusting than a sex lamp? More disgusting than green wet dreams?
Yes. Because it took place in, quote, the real world. It was called Rosa. It was about Rosa Parks. They actually did it, and I can't tell you how really horrifically bad it was.
Okay.
And I won't go into it here because
I got you.
Now you can guess why I can't talk about it.
Yeah, I got you, boss. I got you.
But it was bad. So
they did the same thing with the India Pakistan stuff too.
That was Demons of the Punjab. That was also horrible and unbelievably idiotic. Everything they do is idiotic. So The Timeless Children, though, is the worst thing. There's not even anything done to Star Trek that's worse than this. Not even anything that's with the Star Wars that has been worse than this. And again, we've all know, those who are fans already know what they did. So after that, I never thought I'd be able to say these words to you, Hungry Boy. After that, I did watch the next special, one with Captain Jack, but after that, they came out with a 6-parter and then a special that I did not watch, the Flux or the 2 specials. So that means there are 8 things called Doctor Who. Those 6-parters and the 2 specials that I did not watch. If you told me there'd ever be a time, no matter how bad Doctor Who got, that I wouldn't watch it, I would. Just like if you'd ever told me many years before that there would be something called Star Trek, no matter how bad it was, that I wouldn't watch, I wouldn't have believed you. And then now I stopped watching. What is it? STD. If you told me there'd ever be something Doctor Who that I wouldn't watch, no matter how bad it is,
I'm right there.
Yeah,
with you.
I wouldn't believe you. So, but they're there. However, I did watch what aired last night, The Power of the Doctor, which is the last story for Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibi. We all know they brought Russell T Davies back, the man who brought the show back in 2005 for the revival and made a lot of people happy by bringing the show back in a modern day form, but a form that was very respectable, mostly respectful and loving of the original era, with things in it I did not like, but I still liked the show. Okay, multiple things can be true at the same time. However, I don't trust him now because he's gone off the deep end. He's nuts. So I think he got his hands on this one, by the way. I'm not sure because it's all Chibble's name on the writing, but there's scenes in there, that whole bunch of big scenes where she's not even in it. And I got to tell you something, Hungry Boy. Spoiler alert, Matthew Pounder. Hey there. I'm spoilering, folks. If you have not seen The Power of the Doctor yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, here's your warning. And then we're going to get on to some comic stuff. So take a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. All right. We'll do it quick, though. All right. There's some scenes. I don't know if you're familiar with the episode at all. Have you heard anything, Hungry Boy?
No, luckily I've been able to avoid this like certain other plagues that are going around the planet right now.
Wait a minute. Kal-El doesn't want me to do it.
Pop Culture Republic just walked
Hey,
through
Pop
the door.
Culture Republic.
Pop!
Kal-El, if you want, I'll put a banner up that says spoilers, and then you can and that way you could and take it off if you don't want to be spoiled, and then I can take it off when I'm done if you want. And I'll just put how about that? Will that work?
I mean, I appreciate some of the things that people in the chat are saying, such as Brian Hepburn, and this is one area where Clobby and I will disagree to a certain extent. If they had the correct actor with the correct appreciation of what 1960s and 1970s and early 80s material and media meant in the BBC in Britain to be a female doctor, I could have rolled with it. If they had Helen Mirren doing a female William Hartnell and appreciating the background, appreciating all the niceties and nuance of Doctor Who going back 40 years, I could have rolled with it very easily. But they chose the wrong people to write it, and they chose the wrong people to portray it.
Believe me, I've heard that many times. What's that? What did you put up there? I can't find it. What did you put up there? I didn't get a chance to look at it.
There it is.
Yeah, see, Joe Martin's a better actress, but it doesn't matter. She's still not the Doctor. I don't agree with that. I mean, I agree with. I understand what you're saying. I still don't. I don't think, because when you do that, when you say that there's some sick, horrible injustice for the fact that a male character who was cast that way to begin with had to be changed to right some stupid wrong. No, here's the only way I probably would have been able to get along with it. If it had been something along the lines, because Tom Baker started that joke in the late 70s, or like when he left the role, he said, maybe it'll be a woman next time. He was just goofing off, and then people ran with it, and he goes, well, why wouldn't it be then? Well,
Tom Baker was a troll, dude. He was a troll. He would troll people. Yeah.
But, it was, if the creators of the show, back Sidney Newman even made the joke a little bit later and ran with it, if that had been done for creative reasons before we entered the era the era that we're in now, the super W word that Raquel doesn't like, era that we're in now.
Are you awake?
No, I'm asleep.
I know.
But if you did wake up, in the wake era. So if we didn't live in that era now, and let's say they really did it because they just thought it would be something interesting, like for a creative reason, I still might not like it. But I would respect it. I don't respect this. I don't respect it. So anyway,
I don't respect it either. I'm just saying that I have a caveat where, every so often, even though you and I and other people and you are very, very similar, one thing that can be said as a magnificent compliment to the Clobberin Clubhouse is that we are not an echo chamber. There are things we shall debate, but we don't decide to go after each other because we disagree.
No. Absolutely not. Except for Phantom Outsider, I'm going to beat him up one day for disagreeing with me. If he ever disagrees with me, I'm going to find him and kick his butt. But other than that,
just Fanty. That's it.
Just Fanty. He doesn't count. Everybody else, he has no rights. But everybody else has the right to disagree with him. I'm kidding. He knows I love him. So, but no, you're absolutely right, Hungry. But that's the way we like it around here. And again, good on you for pointing that out. We're not an echo chamber here, but. The episode, they had things in there that they tugged at my heartstrings. I'm mad at them. I'm mad at them because they put things in there they knew was going to get to us. They brought back Ace and Tegan, and I love Ace is my favorite companion. I gotta mute myself. J&T's right. Excuse me, J-Man's right. So this episode had RTD written all over it. I think the episode was decent. Other doctors in it, but the ending screams of desperation. So basically, yes, they brought back. They found this is no way Chibble came up with this idea because they found a halfway plausible way to bring back some of the older doctors and not have to deep fake them. In other words, they could just look as old as they are now. Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, and then Peter Davison, and of course David Bradley plays First Doctor. They're part of this. When the master, and I do like the guy playing the master. I think he's pretty good. Sasha, I'm sorry, I can't remember the guy's name, but I like him.
Sasha Baron Cohen?
No. Why did I know you were going to say that? That's it. That's it, folks. It's the first. This is the first time. His first of many times, I bet you. But he's earned it, hasn't he? He's earned it.
Oh, no.
Agonizer, please.
Well, it's better than a la meringue.
Very nice.
Wait, it's better than what?
Very nice. Very nice. Better than a la meringue.
Oh,
instead of... Damn it! I set myself up for that.
Yes, you did. So
shin kicks. Shin kicks.
That too. So anyway, I love Ace. She's my favorite companion, right up there with Sarah Jane. And Tegan's was annoying and stuff, but it was still, it's good to see her. They found a way to bring those doctors back. They were part of this when she's passing on about he's stolen her regeneration, or gave her forced regeneration gobbledygook where they put her in a machine, so she's dying, her consciousness is dying, and she passes on an insider consciousness. They're in there and they all look old. So in other words, they didn't deep fake them. They just let them be old. What the hell? It's fine. It works. And because they're not really her, they're aspects of doctors. And all fine and good. That it worked. It was whatever. It's weird, but it was fine. And they're all talking to her and all this kind of stuff. And later we get a scene. Oh my God, man, I hate these ones for making me do this. We got a scene. First of all, we get one with Five and Tegan. Fifth Doctor and Tegan, which was really touching. And then we get one that, man, because look, 7 and Ace, that means a lot to me. Seventh Doctor and Ace. That I'm one of the few that really, really loves the McCoy era. It gets a lot of static, but I love it.
Preaching to the choir, Clobby. Preaching to the choir.
Look, that first season was tough, but I mean the second 2 seasons, I just love it.
Oh, the sensitivity that Sylvester McCoy brought to it. And for Raquel, that comes from his Celtic mindset, because Sylvester McCoy is a Celt. And he also intimated, without making it obvious, he intimated a sort of metaphysical spirituality to the Doctor without making it woo-woo. He brought up elements of the Doctor that we hadn't seen before. Now, maybe that was the scriptwriters, the directing, but he certainly could encapsulate that, and he could embody that and make us believe it. Particularly when you're looking at a certain adventure that takes place at a British seaside with a thousands-year-old vampiric plague menace, and I think
the Curse of Fenric. I love the Curse of Fenric is a brilliant episode. I love it.
Oh, it's pure art. It's art, baby.
Michael Carney, hello there.
The Lord Liverpool.
I've never seen Lord Liverpool. I've never seen Michael Carney here. Welcome, Michael Carney. It's good to have you.
Nice one picked. Nice one, Michael.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you. All right. Well, so anyway, we'll go quick. The scene now again, it referenced something that sounded more like it's from the Doctor Who novels. It was never in the episodes. Doctor Who novels and the Big Finish productions, the conversation they had about their falling out. Hello, J.D. Lewis, what's up? Between 7 and Ace. But it was very touching. That scene was really good. Seeing those other Doctors was fun. Seeing Ace and Tegan, and they weren't ruined. They didn't do any kind of W stuff. I say W because I don't, I do it for Raquel because I love her, and I don't want to say that. She don't like that word. So I say W stuff. You know what I mean? She knows what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do any W stuff.
Good. It's good that you say that.
So it's just the word we're stuck with right now. I'm sorry. But we try.
But I like the fact that you address that it's become like this catch-all term without true definition. So every time you do that, you're reminding everyone that it's now just a ball they pass around and they're not quite sure how to define it. So I love that you do that. I doff
Yes.
my cap to you,
And
Captain.
when I do it, I always like at least make fun of the word by calling it wokity and all this other stuff. So-
Yes, it's
Can
great.
I
I
also-
love it.
Can I also back up Raquel here and use some fancy language that she'll like, but you'll appreciate it too, Clobby, even though you won't admit it. It is the context of no subtext.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
exactly.
I like it. I don't know what it means, but I like it. Yeah, Battlefield is good. I love Battlefield, though. Yeah, Claude mentioned that. So anyway, those scenes are irresistible. It's got a lot. The story is all. It's just a jumbled mess. And there's a scene later, Hungry Boy, where we get this sort of for the lack of a better comparison or analogy, like an AA meeting type. Yeah, but of people who have traveled with the doctor who are now, and we get Mel. Mel was annoying, but still, Bonnie Langford was a lovely actress. We get to see Mel. We get
Again,
Joe
not
Grant.
her fault. Not her fault. Not her fault.
No, not her fault. We get Joe Grant, and we get of course we had Tegan and Ace, and they had a couple of the other ones, but then there was William Russell was there, Ian Chesterton. He's 97 years old. They had him there, but it was cool to see. It was nice to see him. He's one of the there was a whole bunch they could have had that they didn't, but I don't know what the deal is on that, but. Anyway, that was nice. And then we get the big regeneration at the end. I kind of thought they were going to cheat and not show it, but she regenerates into, wait for it, David Tennant. And for some reason, his clothes change. The clothes change, too.
What?
Remember when the old 80s Hulk cartoon where the Hulks, when he would chase back to Bruce Banner, the clothes would come back on?
Yes.
I think that could be something to do with some kind of AI crap they're messing with us. But for some reason, every other doctor always regenerates and still has the same damn clothes as the previous one. And later, that's always a part of the story in the introductory story where they go and they get their new outfit look they're going to have. And this one, he has new clothes when she changes into him on this big mountaintop thing. It's very dramatic. And I'm like, what in the hell? But it's still, he looks good. And we're so happy. We're going to get a story with David Tennant. My God, I can't wait to see that. It's probably the only anything close to any Doctor Who we're ever going to get again. When they change to getting ruined, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in RTD on that. But he even does the joke when he turns back, like when he first turned into Tennant, he goes, remember he's messing with his teeth. New teeth. That's weird. Well, this one goes, wait, I know those teeth. He doesn't. He's himself. He's just. I don't know. It was again tug at your heartstrings. I love David Tennant. We all love David Tennant. We all love seeing him back. We're going to get one story with him. It's probably going to be a big cheat, a big tease, and then they regenerate, and then there won't be another episode for a complete year a year from next month will be the 60th anniversary. So the ratings in this thing are doing terribly, which is a good thing because the show does not deserve good ratings. But yeah, I'm kind of almost angry with him for making me I don't know.
I understand where you're coming from. I do. But do go on, Captain.
Yeah. No, that's good. Again, that's all I wanted to say. I want to cover it saying it was very frustrating in a sense for them to dredge up all of these memory berries and this nostalgia, but it does prove something too, though. It proves that people will watch it, and the only thing people will come out of liking about one of your crappy episodes, Chibi, that you're now done at least, is nothing of your crap. We just like seeing the old doctors and seeing David Tennant pop up and the old companions. And everything you have is shite. And your story was so stupid and convoluted. It made no damn sense. You just threw a bunch of Daleks and Cybermen together, and the Master, who actually is good. The guy is good as the Master.
They did that again. They did the Cyberman plus Dalek again.
Dalek and Cybermen, of course, because
do they have no imagination?
Well, they have to use Daleks every so often because of for legal reasons.
Copyright and trademark reasons. Yes, I understand that. But the idea of putting the Daleks versus the Cybermen together, it's done and dusted. It's a horse that's ridden until it is sweaty and soapy, and you just stick it wet into the barn. It's finished. It's ready for the glue farm, folks.
Especially since he's Chibi ruined the damn Cybermen. Well, his Daleks suck too. So anyway, that's about that. That's the Doctor Who. All the Doctor Whoing we're gonna plague you all with tonight.
Who's on first?
What's on second? I don't know what's on third. Gaggle. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna get back to. Let me hang on, folks. Let me get rid of this warning thingy because we're gonna start talking some comics and stuff like that. We have a something. Okay, so I see what you're talking about there. But everyone looks like we got a nice, lively chat tonight. I want to thank you. I think we're up to date saying hello to everybody. It's good to see you all, and I appreciate you. We are just so happy to have Hunger Boy. This is how long have you been a friend of this channel, Hunger Boy?
This is going back to last year now. And in fact, I can
well
tell
over a year, man. Huh?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly where we met. It was on Poly Latino Slant Stream, and he was discussing the subject had come up of Latino comic book artists, and you know the name I was going to bring up immediately: Hulk versus Batman. I'm like, ah! I mentioned that venerated name, that fantastic man, and his art, and you jump in, and I thought, okay, look at this guy in the stream. He's got Ben Gibbons and Avatar. We are gonna be friends.
And we are, man. You've become such a great friend of the show. Let's see what Raquel. I called her Raquel. It's Michelle. It rhymes though. Michelle says, I just mentioned about my checkup this afternoon. Yeah, I did see that earlier, but like I say, we got topics we're talking about. I do see as much of the chat as I can, Michelle, for sure. But I can't stop and comment on everything that goes on there. So I'll let you kind of guys talk amongst yourselves. But I did see that, and I hope you were doing well. I hope your appointment went well and everything's your checkup today, and I hope everything's going great. I hope it is. Like I said, I did see. I don't get to see the whole chat because I have to focus on whatever we're talking about. So there are a lot of things I do miss in the chat a lot of the time. So I always, and I think everyone knows that I try to get to as much as I can, and Raquel tries to get as much as we can. But we got to kind of get stay on topic a lot. However,
yeah, it's really hard to shift gears, but I want everyone to know that we really try. We try to shift gears as much as possible, but there's only so much interrupting I can do of our wonderful captain because I love him and I don't want to derail his thoughts and move on to a different topic. But we do try, and wherever there's room, I want to promise you that Clobby and I both try to wiggle all that, as much of that stuff in as we possibly can because we care about you. But at the same time, we do have to stay on topic.
And before we move on to the comic book stuff, can I add something on this topic?
Well,
briefly?
Sure.
Just because I really do like the cut of Michelle O'Rourke Johansson's jib, and she and I would indubitably have much mutual appreciation for a lot of the pre-Padraig Gaelic stuff, and she knows what I'm talking about, Padraig, otherwise known as St. Patrick, where this show and this channel specifically, the Clobby channel, is very context specific. So we will have shows where we are only talking about Star Trek. We will have shows where we are primarily talking about comic books, and we, in order for things not to get too chaotic, like the Fomor facing off the Chua J. Donnan, and you'll understand that reference, we need to keep things more orderly versus more overly fluid, because if things get overly fluid, the wine spills out of the cup and it goes on the floor, to use an Irish metaphor. So I hope you appreciate that.
And there'll be no wine spilling here this evening. And I would just like to say, Minimus, you keep those book suggestions to yourself. You're putting me in the poorhouse.
But I'm glad that went well, Michelle. Absolutely. Very good. Love it. Always just stay in good health, and we're happy to hear that for sure. And damn, why doesn't Hunger Boy have his own show? You should. You will probably.
I can only do this once a month, man, with my physical stuff and your physical stuff. I've been saving this up for 30 days.
Well, we're glad you're here. That's all that matters. But I'm just saying you would be good at it. Of course. Well, let's see here.
You can always invite me on whenever you want. And if I'm feeling sick and poorly, you and I share the blood pressure medication war story. Yes. So I can simply say, dude, I'm in bed for the day. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I got you. Oh, I hear you there for sure. Because it's daytime for you over there. Matt G, hello there.
Hello.
Welcome. Matt G. So let me see here. This is Mark C Comics Talk. I didn't plan much though.
I planned plenty. You want me? Did he like
Yeah,
Outer
you have
Limits?
notes.
Did Mark C like Outer Limits, the '60s series?
I believe he did. I know we do. We all do here. It was a great show, but it's not comics.
We do.
Oh
We
no,
do.
I can equate that to comic books, and I would like to bring up a point and have us just look at it as a jump off. All right, for any discussion we might have.
Just go out there and play, and just come back in when the street lights are on.
Okay, man. Yeah, back when kids could be self-responsible, right? Anyway, Generation X jokes, folks. So I look at Outer Limits as an excellent conceptual proving ground for people who want to do proper comic books versus the comic book art of today, because you had a 4:3 aspect ratio. You were limited to around 53 minutes, making it an hour with commercials, back when you weren't assaulted by commercials for more than a third of an hour's viewing time. And you had to have the story be one and done, just like Fantastic Four #1, which was actually printed a year and a half before the first episode of Outer Limits went into production in 1963. And
Wow.
so it's like the Raquel short story thing. How much can you do within constraint? And I refer to this, and in the 90s, I taught this when I was briefly teaching art to people, and they wanted to learn about comic books and graphic novels. I said, this is the concept of creativity through constraint. And in comic books, if you equate it to Outer Limits, the 4-color process, you have 4 colors only in a dot printing process, 17 to 24 pages. How much entertainment and how much elucidation can you provide?
Nice. Wow. You did quit it to comics. You brought it right back to comics.
Indeed. And you look at a small section, like 4 issues of Jim Starlin's most magnificent work in the 1970s with Adam Warlock. Is it standard comic book printing material? Yes, it is. But is it cosmic? Is it celestial? Is it metaphysical? Yes. And he takes what hippies would do as navel gazing, and he actually creates a situation where a character is questioning not only the motives of his current day life, but his very soul, his very existence. And he takes existentialism, which is one of the most wanky things in the universe, and he turns it into he turns it into a hardcore comic book plot that everyone can enjoy, and in fact is very much, decades later, essential to the Tennant and Matt Smith episodes of Doctor Who, but he was doing it in the 70s. And
Yes.
he was creating these wonderful ornate panel structures that were still something that people could read and follow and understand the flow of the sequential art, the sequential storytelling. And it may have been a piece of art alone that you didn't like comic books, you didn't know comic books from a bar of soap, you could stick that Jim Starlin, Adam Warlock page on your wall and admire it. But as a reader, as a fan of science fiction and metaphysics and the quasi-supernatural, you could get engrossed and enveloped within the story and be totally absorbed and be taken out of whatever crappy day-to-day life you had.
Wow. Just don't let Vince Coletta near the inking, though, right?
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't.
No, I have that in my notes. I got Vince Coletta in my notes for later.
I just threw that in there for the joke.
No, do you mind if I here's another joke? Okay, so let's say you're a youngin' and you want to become a comic book artist, okay? And you got to learn about the industry, and I got a lot of stories about that for later. Probably not this episode of the Clubhouse, but we freelancers would get together and we'd say, "What was your first great wound of the heart in comic books?" And this would be around the 2 a.m. drinking circle you get, San Diego or Phillycon, the guys who have been working 18 hours every goddamn page. Oh, pardon my language.
That's how you're good.
And we would get together and we would talk shop, but we'd have our griping sessions to decompress. So we were respectful to the fans and everyone else who bought the comics, unlike today, and not throw it in their face. So we could have a happy, smiling face when we were at the table for the companies, right? And so we're talking about the wounds of comic books. And so one of us, I won't say who, brings up, I think one of the worst wounds is when you first realize what an inker can do or not do. And it's when you've seen Sinnott over Kirby during the introduction to Psycho Man, and then you see the Tales of Asgard with Vince Coletta over Kirby, and that was like a massive wound. When you are not even old enough to shave, you realize this is what a bad inker can do to you. You know what I mean, Globby?
Yep. And I think the one he hurt the least was Kirby, because everybody. It almost like he didn't erase as much shit when he was inking Kirby on Thor and stuff. Not that I liked it, mind you. Bill Everett was so great at inking Kirby on Thor.
I agree with that. I don't understand why Everett doesn't get more love for a Kirby inker. I don't understand that. But I mean, Everett is someone I love by himself anyway. And I'm completely on board with Thor, Maddie's daddy, Steve, with that one. I am a huge. Oh,
Bill Everett was fantastic.
This is for Nick. Huge Everett fan. Okay, that one's for Nick Weiser.
Just incredible.
And you look at an inker who does something that is not easily anticipated. Okay. Where they're not just copying Kirby's lines or trying to. Someone who, as a fellow artist, who says, I think Jack might be trying to draw this out of the story and the way that he's presented me with the pencils. Maybe I'm going to roll with that. Maybe I'm going to try to accentuate that in the ink line. And I think that is what Mr. Everett did. But then again, we can't know because both the guys are dead. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I got plenty of love for Chick Stone over on Kirby. D-Bud, yeah. I mean, no. There was nobody's being slighted. There were a lot of inkers before Sinnott came onto FF and around issue 40 something or other, whatever it was. But after that, it was strictly on FF. It was strictly Sinnott. But Chick Stone was one of the great ones on there, I thought.
Yes.
There were a few good ones on there before him.
And D-Bud is mentioning Chick Stone, and Claude is mentioning
Kirby. Yeah.
That was good stuff. That was very good stuff. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Was that Hulk number 2 or number 3?
It was one of the Hulks. There was actually, there was another one. There was like one or two others, maybe some Strange Tales.
And that was, in fact, this is a nice anecdote where the first time I ever saw Kirby art, was when I was in grade school. I believe it was year 1, what Americans would refer to as first grade. And I was a massive Ultraman fan. My friend was a massive Ultraman fan. He said, let me come back and show you my monster stuff, because we were both monster kids. And so he had a whole bunch of stuff from Japan because his mother was Japanese Hawaiian.
Yeah.
And so we're looking through all the stuff. And he says, there's some more stuff in the closet if you want to go and have a look at that. And I go in the closet and I say, oh, wow, you got a lot of comic books on the floor. He said, yeah. That's the stuff from my dad. He said I shouldn't be focused on all the Japanese stuff. I should focus on this American stuff. This was stuff he had from his childhood. You should go ahead and have a look at it if you want, but it's not as good as Ultraman. And so what do I pick up? Well, it's a story that has on the cover the Glob. It was Journey into Mystery number 72, man. And that was first time. And that is a great Kirby piece. That is fantastic. And
Kirby Monsters.
That was my first introduction to Kirby, and I wasn't bitten by the comic book bug yet, but that was getting me close to it. That was getting me very close to it.
Oh man, well, yeah, I love the monster stuff. Look at that, the great Mark D with this is popped in here. And, hey, buddy, I hope you're feeling well. Feel good, man. Well, hope we get to talk soon, but rest up, buddy. Rest up from that trip. Matthew Pounder, look, I can respect that. Frank was a good inker. I always have trouble with this last name. Giacoya. It's always the Gia, right? Giacoya. Yeah. So anyway, good. He was a good inker. Yeah, no question about it. He's definitely no Coletta or. I'm not going to start talking about the bad inkers. Because you can be here all day.
We can do that later, but one of the great things about this channel is we focus on the stuff we love, and only 10% of it is, the other stuff like Chibble Wibble. But we love to focus on the stuff that we really, really, really enjoy. Yeah. And at some point later in the conversation, we'll put a pin in it now, but Thor, Steve, Maddie's daddy, he did want me at some point to come on and talk about the correlation, and I think Raquel would be very interested in this, between classical fine art and how it affected and actually came into comic book art.
Feel free.
So we can do that later, but if you're on
Whatever
a
you
roll,
want.
I don't want to slow your roll, man.
I don't have. I'm gonna say you're the one who did more preparation tonight than me. You did notes. You said I have nothing.
Well, can we
probably
do
ask
something
you some
for
questions.
Raquel? Can we do something
I would
for
love
Raquel?
to do something, Raquel, because we're
Oh,
glad
you
to have her
guys
here.
don't have to dedicate any time to me.
we love
That's
you,
for
so we
sure.
want
But
to.
ooh,
Hey.
Michael just walked through the door.
Retro
Michael's here.
blasting.
Retro
Hey there.
blasting.
Good to see you there, my buddy.
Hey, did you
Hello.
see his award?
Yes, he got the
He got
what do
a
they call it? The
beautiful
button,
award
right?
from the YouTube people.
Yes, because his great channel crossed 100,000 subs,
Michael
which is well deserved, and good to see you there, bro.
and Melinda. Michael and Melinda.
Michael and
Retro
Melinda.
blasting.
Two of my favorite people who ever existed. They're the greatest. You guys are the best. Love you. But yeah, no, dude. Like I say, I didn't. There was just so much stuff. I guess it's kind of. I don't know where to start because we've talked about when. Hello, how do you pronounce that? You go for it, hungry boy. Pronounce that one for me.
Do you mean our Vietnamese friend?
Yes,
Mo Nguyen.
Mon Nguyen. Okay, because I'm garbage at that kind of thing.
Or Nunyan.
What Munyon?
Yeah, it's like there's like a
Munyan.
south
Okay.
pronunciation
Okay.
of it and a north
Well-
pronunciation of it. It depends upon whether or not you're in Canada or you're
Okay.
in the States, and it's a difficult. I've recently learned that is a very difficult name to pronounce correctly, and I know a whole bunch of people with that name, and boy, did they ever let us away with murder in how we say it.
Well, I will. Butchering it or not, Munyon, welcome to Clobbering Times. I'm
Yeah.
happy to see you here. We always love to see new people pop in. It's fantastic when they do because we like everyone hanging out here. We hope you like comics. And yes, I bitched about Doctor Who for the first 40 some odd minutes, but now we're back on comics, on track for our Monday night Mark C Comics talk. But
for Raquel, and also before Raquel and I really came into our friendship, I had started a massive art appreciation, how it applies to comic book connection with Steve, with Thor immediately. So out of respect to him and mutually out of respect to Raquel, I'd just like to very quickly bring up something regarding Bill Sienkiewicz, who is considered probably the greatest painter in comic books.
Oh.
And he was painting stuff back in 1981, 1982, the New Mutants covers, and how his work absolutely, for his painted work, springs from the work of people who were massive professionals in artistic, fully painted, fully rendered advertising art, but even going back to the late 1800s and early 1900s with a name called Gustav Klimt, Gustav space Klimpt, Gustav Klimt. And so there was the Klimt woman, like there was the Frazetta gal. Okay. And if you look at his paintings of women, particularly when he's doing mixed media, and that's what Bill Sienkiewicz became very well known for, his mixed media, and he was doing that before Dave McKean was doing mixed media, then you look at his paintings of these women that he adored and he venerated, and you're saying, and this is particularly because I learned about Klimt in my art history class in my art school, which was very much like Pink Floyd The Wall. Not art school, high school. Art class in high school, like Pink Floyd The Wall.
another brick in the wall.
Yeah, that was my teenage years. Okay, and I learned about Gustav Klimt. I thought, oh, I like this guy. I can't stand this Picasso guy, but this Klimt guy, yeah, he's talking to me. And then I see what's going on in Electra Assassin, the miniseries, and I'm looking at Bill going, you Klimt fan. You are a little Klimt fan, aren't you? Oh, you like Klimt. You escaped Stalag 13 and you went to Klimt land.
That was so outrageous for him because before that he was just ripping atoms.
But he was
Let's be honest, he was.
He was hard
was
to do so.
fine.
You know this, but Raquel won't know this. I mean, at one point, Sienkiewicz wanted to break in, and he had become friends with Adams, and Adams had basically called up the Marvel offices and said, "Hey, give this kid a chance. He draws like me, but he's not me."
Yeah.
And that's how it basically started.
Yep.
And a lot of people, to be fair, because we talked about this with Buckler and other people, a lot of people were instructed to draw like someone else. So I always defend Buckler, who's no longer with
I
us.
love Buckler, yeah.
God rest his soul. But Buckler, he would hold on to any job he could get. He worked with Jim Warren for the Warren magazines, and he knew how those magazines were great. But working for Jim Warren, sometimes not.
They told him to draw like Kirby, then they told him to draw like Adams, and he'd do it, and he did it well. I love Buckler.
But when he was just doing himself, like the Deathlock stuff, that's when I liked Buckler best.
That's his best work. I mean, that is by far.
I've heard of Klimt.
Well, if we could pull up some images.
He's a symbolist painter, right? And he uses like everything looks very quite faded, and but then he always adds these very stark elements that almost look like a country quilt. So it's like these stark images in with these very subtle images, right?
Yes, and except when he was actually painting the women, in which it would all be a little bit of tempera and then oil over it. And for people who don't know, tempera is, oh God, I hate tempera. Tempera is basically paint made from eggs. It's made from eggs. And cassanes or cassians are made from milk. Okay, so a lot of what we look at and we think, oh, these are oils. Sometimes it's tempera, sometimes it's oils, sometimes it's gouache, sometimes it's Cassian, because the opaque look is what people associate with oils versus the watery, translucent look is what we associate with watercolor. And with Klimt, he would do these wonderful passages with a lot of tiny hatching, but sometimes some good blending on the women. And then he would have this very stark composite around the women, which would accentuate their softness, and their softness would accentuate the starkness of the background. And a lot of that yellow we were looking at right now is actually, and Raquel will like this, that's gold leaf that he painstakingly applied to the canvas.
And I'm familiar with his very famous painting. I wonder if we could bring it up. It's The Kiss, right?
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
That has
I have there
so
Donnie
much
Pearson.
gold in it, and that's what I mean about how, like, you imagine these lovers under this beautiful country quilt, a very ornate, very well-made quilt, and that's what I imagine in my mind when I think of Klimt.
But then again, so is a wonderful story. You can have an 18-page short story that's a wonderful quilt, but you have the central design that holds it all together.
Yeah, there it is.
Yum yum.
Donnie Pearson, welcome.
Yeah, and doesn't that look like a quilt? It's like you have these two lovers, and they're beneath this gorgeous quilt, and you imagine they're having a very erotic time, but it's also very romantic. And so the embrace is both erotic and romantic, and then it's just the whole image, the way that just the way that he plays with those odd patterns, where you're like, what is happening here? I always think of it as a very, very expensive country quilt.
very, very much. And if you notice on the left side, the male side, it's all very geometric, and then the shapes on the right side, the female side, are softer.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's very deep for somebody painting something before 1925. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And he did some other stuff too, though, right? Like he did he did flowers.
He did some stuff. I mean, the guy who was most known for doing fine art and then doing other stuff, including posters for theatrical things, was Alphonse Mucha, who is also someone of whom Thor is a massive fan. And we can talk about Mucha at a later date, but I wanted to bring this up because this stuff really,
this is beautiful.
Well, we don't have the time for me to find and go through all the Bill Sienkiewicz stuff, which directly applies to this particular painting, and explain it, because that's like an hour-long master class that I don't want to do.
That you're not gonna do a seminar for us?
No, I do a seminar, but you know, we've only got so
kidding.
much
I'm
time.
kidding.
We
I'm
got-
kidding.
We have a whole bunch of comic book art stuff to talk about, you
Well,
know?
let's
And
do it.
do it.
Do it. Hello, Donnie. It's so nice to see you, Donnie Pearson.
And I also want to just compliment the chat. They're being hilarious. I mean, Claude, I am just so glad to have made your acquaintance. And
You
I'm
mean
not gonna,
minimus?
yeah, minimus.
Minimus.
I'm not going to read the F word, but tempera, bloody water, and chalk. Yeah, that's what it feels like on the brush, man. That's what it feels like. Oh my God, it's like trying to use caulking paste as frosting on a cake.
You said. You said. And this, I mean, look, when he started doing this kind of stuff in comics, with New Mutants and Electra Assassin, and later was it Stray Toasters? It was freaky.
Oh, let's not talk about Stray Toasters. I got a better example for you. And
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
Can we
but
see a
with
big
Raquel's-
one, boss? I want to see a big one of this one, boss. This is
That's
really
okay. That
cool.
one's okay. That's all right.
It's
That,
so
that one's not
different.
my favorite.
What now? Say again?
Can we do full view of that?
I don't know. Let's
I
figure
don't
it
think
out.
we
Can
can.
you write
Otherwise,
this
we'll
up?
get in trouble.
Oh, okay. It would be a copyright thing. Okay.
So
But,
this guy is really cool. This guy is
he's really
super
cool,
cool.
and he's someone I wanted to introduce you to. And there's actually a graphic novel he did that I would like you, Raquel. I'm going to ask you politely to let this be your first experience of Bill
Okay.
Sienkiewicz, because I think you're going to respond to it more than anything else.
Okay, let me
And
get a piece
he
of
did
paper.
a
and-
biography of Jimi Hendrix, and it's fully painted in this style and other styles.
And what's it called? Do you know? Or I'll just take down his name. Hold on. Wow, that last name is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, Sienkiewicz. It's
It's
Polish. Polish
yeah, it's
music.
weird. It's yeah, it's kind of.
Okay.
Hang on a second. I'll pull something up here.
Okay. Wicked.
So he
All right,
did
I'll
this-
do that. I will do that, Hungry Boy, immediately.
Well, I'm going to send you a link. So, I mean, okay, now maybe not. It's going to be a place for you to look at the art online without buying it. And then you can decide whether you buy the actual physical product. It'll be up to you. But I will send you the link to his graphic novel version of the life of Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, okay.
And I will do that this week. So as I suggest things like Trollenberg Terror to you, I will suggest this graphic novel to you.
Oh,
Appreciate
okay.
it.
Well,
There's a
I
bit
mean,
of it
come
right
on.
there.
You're a great tastemaker.
Thank you very much. You're very kind.
He was
Claude.
I have my issues with Bill on things he says, but
yeah.
his art was interesting.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he really started he started changing his style and going crazy with New Mutants.
Yes.
That
Yes.
just really started catching people's eyes in the earlier mid '80s when he's doing that and Electra Assassin and stuff like that. I mean, I wasn't really reading any of those. I mean, I read Electra Assassin. I really wasn't reading New Mutants at the time, but it got attention.
You like his original Moon
turned
Knight
some heads.
stuff in the Hulk magazine.
I
don't
did
you,
like,
Bobby?
and even in the regular Moonlight run, I kind of did like his him just
collecting
ripping
that,
abs
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, but and he did FF for a run where he didn't like it, and you had Sin on Ink in him. It was just a weird fit.
Oh, it was wretched. Those are my least favorite FF episodes ever until we hit the 90s.
It's quite
Um,
intriguing, though. This is clearly fine art. This is clearly where fine art walks straight up to comics and smooches it right on the mouth, and there might even be some tongue. I mean, this is serious fine art colliding with comics, and it's
Oh, Raquel,
It's
no.
amazing.
It's more than the tongue. I have actually got the French kiss, if you know what I mean, the French kiss in
Yeah.
quotation marks between Bill Sienkiewicz and what you love.
Yeah.
Okay, because the
With-
other person he strongly took from was influenced by was Bob Peak. Bob
Oh.
Peak.
Oh, Bob Peak
the
was great, yeah.
poster artist of
Yes.
Rollerball and 2 Star Trek motion pictures.
yeah.
I want to say something. Ezra Goldstein, hello there, welcome. And the answer to your question is, I spent almost the first hour of the show going off about the power of the Doctor. So I did talk about Doctor Who in quite a bit earlier. So just so you'll know.
So-
yes, I had some things to say about that for sure.
So Bob Peak was an amazing advertising illustration
I
guy.
have his posters.
Oh
for
yes,
Star
yes,
Trek.
okay.
Oh, Pete was
You know
fantastic.
exactly what I'm talking about. And
Bob
also
Peak,
you did the poster for Excalibur by Borman, which is the
Yeah.
best at this point,
Incredible.
the best cinematic representation of the King Arthur myth, which also has a huge amount of the Welsh, otherwise known as Cymric, pre-Christian background mythos in it. And it is a wonderful film that most people should see. It is considered the best role that Helen Mirren ever played. She played Morgana Le Fay, and Bob Peak did the poster for that.
Oh wow.
HB,
Circling back on that, I tried to watch the Chibi. My friend DC, he calls them chin balls. And so that's all I can remember his name now. As you asked me, who Chibi, you guys say Chibi, but I just remember
It's
chin
Chibi.
balls.
Some
But I
people call
was
him Chin Balls.
watching Chin Balls' version of Camelot, and I actually had to stop watching it.
Oh,
It
he's
was
a-
so
oh.
revolting. I had to stop watching it. It was
He's a
so
deconstructionist.
bad.
He's a deconstructionist, Raquel, and we know what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you Raquel, you create things, and deconstructionists think, yeah, I can't do that. So this is how, and this also goes back to comic book art and bad comic book art of today, but we're going to focus mainly on stuff we love. Deconstructionists are like angry, badly brought up kids who are
Yes.
18 years old, and they can't get their crap together to buy a nice car. So they see a nice car on the street and they drag out the house keys and they key the car to leave their mark on the car.
Yes.
And that's a deconstructionist.
You know,
when it's not interpretive and you're not doing it for an academic interpretive reason, I
Right.
liken it to the difference between invention and innovation. Those
Yes.
who invent, and those who can't invent, innovate. And
Yes.
And to not to a good effect most of the time.
Well, I mean, Coke,
Yeah.
New Coke was an innovation, right?
yeah. Well, yeah,
Exactly.
and I'm not-
Exactly.
yeah. Sometimes, Alan Moore was a great innovator, but for a while in the 80s, some people can do it, but most people can. By the way, Raquel might like, Sienkiewicz's comic book adaptation of the Dune movie.
Mm.
That
Hey,
looks really pretty.
Did you get that back when it came out? I know I bought it, of course.
So
I
what
like
is
the
this?
painted
What
part
is
of
this
it.
called, Clobby? This is
What?
it's just called Dune?
The movie from the 80s,
Yes.
the Dune film from the 80s. He did the comic book adaptation of it. Back then, again, it's almost a lost thing now, but we talk about it over here every once in a while. They used to, every big movie that came out had a quote unquote comic book adaptation that would usually even hit the stands even before the film came out, where, that was a big deal well, they did it for many years, but as far as it was a real big deal with big budget blockbusters in the throughout the 80s and even into the 90s a little bit. They kind of stopped doing it. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, got skipped. It's the only Trek movie they didn't do until 2010 when they rectified that and did a really crappy one. But just saying, so every movie got a comic book
its own
adaptation.
comic. He does a nice Bill does a nice Batman, but I don't like his Superman.
No,
he's not a Superman guy.
Agreed.
Look at his Superman. Look at how
He's not made for
it's
Superman.
terrible. But his Batman, that Batman up at the top is just divine.
Well, yeah. Oh, his Batman's great.
That reminds me of
never,
my 1940s Batman that I love. I love the 1940s Batman, but his Superman is awful.
He's not for every character.
He's an acquired taste. He's an acquired
Not
taste.
not all artists are.
It's true. It's true.
He's got his predilections. Bill certainly has his predilections, and I can say, as much as you Raquel, as much as you dislike his Superman, OMG, the atrocities he committed upon Wolverine / Logan, the worst Logan ever drawn.
But you guys, did you see that
Awful.
Batman? That Batman was a nice Batman.
Well, Batman's great, even though he never really did the character on a regular basis. Or anything.
Yeah, but he had a feeling in that Batman. That Batman was like the Batman. He had a feeling to it. But his Superman, I don't know who that Superman is.
No,
but
he's not really not a mainstream superheroes kind of guy. Even, like I said, he did Electra Assassin. Doesn't really count. He did New Mutants. That was kind of a weird book. That was when he changed his style. Like, there are a few artists that changed their style radically in the comics, and he was one of them.
And so
But
that's abstract mixed with expressionism, and it's quite
realism.
daring. It's very provocative, very daring, and thank you for showing that to me. Just absolutely beautiful, very, very daring.
We should look at Straight Toasters.
No Straight Toasters for Raquel. No. I've read that.
How about
No
Plastic
Straight
Forks?
Toasters.
Just kidding.
No Straight Toasters for Raquel.
How about Plastic Forks by Ted McKeever?
No.
You're not a McKeever guy?
I got blood pressure issues too, Clobby. Stop it.
I was just gonna say, as Hungry Boy empties his medicine chest.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are other things of Bill's that Raquel would really like, but Straight Toasters is not one of them. It's just like when I was screaming out in the chat the other day and J-Man laughed. No humanoids from the deep for Raquel. Never. Avoid.
For that stuff, yeah.
Even though ironically humanoids from the deep, even the uncut version, is very much a cheaper Bear of the Week Outer Limits episode, but it was done from the hey, let's get salacious Cinemax after 12 midnight point of view of Roger Corman, and that means there's going to be a lot of dismemberment and a lot of distasteful nudity that Raquel will not like.
No. Look at this comment from JD Lewis.
Yeah, I'm finding it. This is actually good, but let's face it, he's cheating. This artist's cheating right here. Just one big red image. So I mean, anyone can do that. It's cool. He did this for Superman 400.
JD
like
Lewis,
a
ask and ye shall receive.
There you go. That's Sienkiewicz's Superman cape. Well, even I can draw a bunch of red cape. I mean, who couldn't do that?
See, that's Bob Peak again. That's him taking from Bob Peak. He never got over Bob Peak. He never, and I don't mind that because Bob Peak was a great artist, and even his advertising, the stuff he would do in magazines that were not comic books, fantastic stuff. But you look at a lot of these little spot illos, these little individual illustrations that Bob Peak would do, and then you go back to Electra Assassin, and you're just like, Bill, call yourself Bob and get over it.
It seems that he is oscillating here,
Yes.
and here in rather than seeing that beautiful dreamy like expressionism in the Batman, now we're seeing more of his abstract training coming to life.
Yes.
And like Clobby said, it looks like one giant red delta.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's fine. Yeah, it was pretty.
No one survived that away mission, right, Captain?
Right. There you go. It was all red. Yeah. There's this cover for Batman 500 or 400, whatever it was. 400. So that's pretty good. He also made a pretty good living for himself doing covers.
And also advertising art, and also he worked more than a little bit in the film industry. And so he does love comic books, but he always had his eyes on other prizes. And some people, who we won't name, the reason their work in comic books was not great was they didn't love the medium itself. They looked at it as a stepping stone to other places.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Yep. This is probably...
I think you'll agree with me, Clobby, that if you're going to commit to a comic book, you have to understand that if it's an established comic book, a properly established comic book, you're going to have probably over 25,000 to 100,000 fans. And in that case, you must be doing it because you appreciate the medium itself. You might not appreciate where the industry is, but you appreciate the medium and do the comic for the sake of doing the comic. Don't do it because you want to get a gig in Hollywood doing storyboards or concept art.
Yeah. I like this when this Electra that's in the second row boss on the far left hand side.
That one?
Yeah, that one.
With the gun there?
Yeah, that's quite lovely.
Weird having her with a gun.
But, he adores her. And she's a Greek character, by the way. Full-blooded Greek character, by the way, Raquel.
Yeah.
Electra Nachos.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an interesting comic. Don't ever forget, picking that one up. Are you sure you don't want to see Straight Toasters?
No, I don't want to see anything sick. And 2 years ago, you told me to never go near that.
Not that. No.
Is that the bad one?
No.
With all that you're like, it's filth. It's
no,
filth.
it's just weird. It's just weird.
It's like
weird,
Twin
right?
Peaks on acid, Raquel. And
Yeah,
so
it was
somebody was
just-
trying to do Twin Peaks as a comic book and then took a lot of acid and decided to construct it. That's what you get.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just
Let's
kind of
see
crazy
one of them
stuff.
big.
It's one of the covers there.
Oh, okay. That's
Nutty.
a hard no for me. That's weird.
I tell you, Raquel,
Anyone here buy Straight Toasters? Admit it. Raise your hand now if you bought Straight Toasters. I bought the first issue.
You're going to make them raise their hand in the chat?
Well, they don't have
Chat,
to. They can
this
put
is
like
one
a-
time I'm going to overrule the captain. If you bought this, you should feel so ashamed. You should not admit it in the chat.
Well, let's look at this Fantastic Four, shall we?
Okay,
Oh, God.
This was-
let's
Okay.
do it.
Do it.
Sinat was able to help save him though on it.
No kidding.
And I don't
Andy
mean this one
Masterson
here.
is here. The great maker is
Andy-
here.
Andy Masterson. See, this is what this here is. This is nice, but it's just a one-type thing. This is not what he did when he drew the comic. When he
No,
drew the
it's not.
comic, it was more like this. Let's see.
Kind of
Here's a typical cover.
Buckle up.
It was okay. It was just
The
serviceable.
internal art was worst, dude. Show if you're really
Yeah.
gonna blast
Let's
this
try to find
Fantastic
some
Four
internal art right here. There you go. Terry Austin couldn't even say that one there.
No, there are only. It's amazing that you can have two fantastic artists who I do revere, Bill Sienkiewicz and Neil Adams, and they have one thing in common, which is not ironic because
They can't draw the Fantastic Four.
Well, the worst things in history, the worst Ben Grimms in history. Nobody drew Ben Grimm worse than Neil Adams and Bill Sienkiewicz.
At least Sienkiewicz didn't give him weird teeth.
The teeth.
Yeah.
Don't mention the teeth, please.
But see, I didn't like it. Wasn't optimum, but it was at least Sienkiewicz made it look like a damn comic book. After this, he went insane with I mean, his Moon Knight was normal, but the New Mutants, which again people liked it, so that's fine. And that was and then I don't know. But anyway, look, this is okay stuff.
But
You know
the
what
very
makes me
last two
cool?
issues he did of the New Mutant, of Moon
There you
Knight.
go.
Is
The
that
last
you
two.
guys taught me meat and teeth. And if you guys say, "Oh, the teeth,"
Muscles
all I'm
and
thinking
teeth.
about is that time you taught me about meat and teeth, and you're just like, "That's crap. That's meat and teeth."
Yeah, absolutely. But Clubby, the last 2 or 3 issues of Moon Knight, that was really showing where he was going to go with the New Mutants.
Yeah.
And I still like that stuff, but it was very much the conceptual art stuff being translated into line work comic book stuff. And we could, if you were reading Moon Knight, you would know exactly what you were settling in for with the New Mutants when he came on.
See this page here? I don't know how they put his name on this. Look how good it is. It's just Sinnott did all the art on that page.
Yeah.
Bill Sienkiewicz did not pencil that page.
He might have done
It was a layout.
rough layouts. Rough.
Look at that, because it looks like the FF. It looks good. Almost looks like burn pencil.
It looks good. Look at what Minimus is asking you.
But what does he ask? I can't see it. I got to get back over to the screen.
This is
here.
what artist turned Ben Grimm into a Stegosaurus.
Oh, you mean pineapple thing, Claude?
Pineapple thing. Well, I know what writer. I think the writer was that idiot DeFalco or
Pineapple.
somebody like that, or was it Englehart? But which artist was doing the book at the time? It wasn't Byrne. He was already gone. Was it Paul Neary? Was it no? I know it wasn't Ron Friends. I can't remember because I dumped the book at the time, and when I saw that on the cover, it didn't make me want to buy the book. I hated this stupid Thingosaurus.
Oh, pineapple thing. No.
Yeah, the pineapple. Oh God.
Isn't pineapple like a safe word?
No, he looks like a pineapple. He's spiky like a
They
pineapple
make him
hide.
spiky. Yeah, it's so stupid. Yeah,
I'm being literal, not euphemistic, Raquel.
Okay.
he really did.
He
look
looks
one.
like an orange pineapple.
Really?
Yes, and
Wow.
and we love it. Ben Grimm, just like Clobby, is my favorite comic book character. And then again, like Clobby, sorry to suck up. I'm going to do it for a moment, boss. Then it's Cyclops. I love Cyclops, particularly
I love
the Adam
Cyclops,
Cyclops and the Dave Cockrum Cyclops, and then all the other Cyclopses. And they are like at the forefront. And then, of course, with villains, if we include villains, Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom is my absolute favorite villain in comic books, period. And when you take certain things that are iconic, and I don't mean in the public misapprehension and misunderstanding of the word iconic, I mean like iconic art, the way it was in Catholic culture, where you would do icons of saints. There are things that are readily recognizable, and in many ways, those were the first comic book covers, even though they were done in the 1300s, 1400s, 1500s. There are things you don't mess with. Okay, so like you're doing Mother Mary. Okay, you don't put devil horns on her head for kicks.
Yeah,
all right,
this is true.
You're messing with the iconic right there. If you were doing Kirk. Okay, if you're doing Shatner Kirk, you don't put 1970s hippie sideburns going down to the corner of his mouth. You don't do that. You don't go Jim Croce with
Let
Kirk.
me jump in for 1 second here, just because we're going to be rude if we don't welcome Stunt Brat 777 to the chat, as well as one of our favorite friends, Oliver Belamonte.
Hello, Stunty.
Oliver Belamonte and Stunt Brat, welcome. So great to see you. Thank you.
Sorry for
being
interrupting you, Hungry. Go ahead.
That's all right. Here you go. That's
done.
There he is. The stupid pineapple
Why did
head
they
thing.
do that to him?
Because they're jackasses. That's why.
You know our friend who has the remarkable house, and it's all been
L, our
Pardon?
good buddy L. His name is L, the guy with all the
L,
thing
yeah,
toys.
we've been friends with him forever. I love that guy. He's a sweetheart. Does he have any of the pineapple?
Oh, he'll have any. If it's the thing, it doesn't matter what. If he had polka dots, he'd have it. He's
what
got
does L
it. Yeah.
think of
But that's a
pineapple?
I don't know. We never talked about it, but the pineapple head thing, or whatever you want to call him, the spiky thing, sucks.
Oh, I think I spied a pineapple thing in Mark's background one time that he had hidden.
But I don't know if they've ever did any figures that may. Oh yeah, Mark D has one, by the way.
Yeah, but Mark D watched the filth. You can't trust anything he says. He also made me watch that stupid Sandman show.
Oh, he didn't make you. Let's be fair. He didn't make you.
He
L has
just
custom.
mentioned it like it was something cool. And because I always think of him as somebody who knows what's cool, I watched it and then I was like, that damn Mark.
You're gonna pile on the man when he's not feeling good. No, L.
Raquel, I gotta make an academic joke. Here. Okay, Mark is Italian. So was Machiavelli. Do the math.
Mark, he has a custom, I know, but did they ever actually do one of this one? Because I thought you had one. Am I wrong? Am I misremembering it? Maybe I thought you had one. Anyway, to hell with the spiky thing.
There's a she thing? Yes,
yes,
she would have extra boulders, and then she would require an extra boulder holder.
Sharon Ventura. That was a really dumb era with the she thing. Sharon Ventura, who was one of the original. Yeah, she was.
Right, Brian? He's spiky everywhere except his underwear.
The she thing. Myris, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Don't pick on the guy with no voice right now. I might have to pop in and clobber. You're welcome to pop in, but I don't want you to strain your voice.
Yeah, hey, just as long as you're feeling up to it. You know I have to tease you because I love you. I mean, like you're one of my best friends ever. So harassment has to happen.
You're welcome to pop in, but don't do it if you're not feeling good.
Yeah.
And Mark knows how I feel about him because I was upset when he could not be at the previous clubhouse, and I even put that publicly in Tweety. An episode without Mark, that's like scrambled eggs without Tabasco sauce. That's not right.
He said they never did a pineapple thing, but he would buy. I know you would buy it.
See, I told you. I told you.
Captain Infinity and beyond. What's up, buddy?
Infinity.
Oh, hello, Captain. How you?
Here, darn. If I wasn't literally on another panel right now, Captain Infinity.
You've been on with Captain
on
Infinity.
Another panel? You naughty boy.
You don't see boy. You've been on with Captain Infinity before, right, Hungry Boy? Yeah.
Oh yes, several times. And the only time he's very generous and he always invites me. And the only time I don't go on is when my various medical problems mean I can't do it. Because I'm either overly exhausted and can't lift my hand.
I understand.
or I have to save my energy because I'm going to be exhausted the next day. And when we get rolling, I generally have about 2 to 3 good hours in me. And then the spinal fluid starts sapping
Oh,
because of the
man.
medical condition. And that means no dopamine, so I can't talk. And he once, as a credit to Captain Infinity, he kept me going for 5.5 hours. And then I was like,
Oh, my
I gotta
goodness.
get off the stream. I gotta get off the stream. My brain is starting into
Oh,
gruel.
wow.
Oh, honey,
Wow,
I'm so
dude.
sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right. That's just, luck of the draw. It's a genetic defect that had to be surgically rectified. No problem. We're having a
Yikes.
good time right now. Let's focus on right now, right?
Yeah.
And we got a triple rainbow Irish style going on in the stream right now. And let's just enjoy the
Look
colors.
who's here, by the way. So,
Interplanet Janet, she's a galaxy girl.
Janet, damn it, Janet, I love you. Boom, 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 boom.
And also, I would like to add that Jill is currently, as far as I know, on another stream. I think she's talking about Star Trek, the animated series.
Oh.
So she's busy. So nobody, if anyone's going, where's Jill? She has other obligations.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
there you go, there you
we
go.
never see her on. This is Mark C Comics Talk. She's not really much in the comics, so we don't see her here on the Monday nights anyway.
Well,
We
she
love
pops
Jill.
in every once in a while.
We love
Stunt
Jill.
Brad,
Never on a
thank
Monday
you for
night.
saying that. That's very kind of you.
What,
and a love right back at you.
Love at you for sure, Stunt Brat. Let's see. See, the thing is, it's always nice. We don't get a lot of the ladies in here. We wish we did. But we have Janet, a lady in here. We had Michelle earlier. Anytime the ladies show up and say hi, we guys, we like that. So it's always good.
Where the ladies at?
Lady, yeah. Hey, where women at?
Well, the thing I really respect about women who appreciate comic books, and this is something I've learned ever since 1986 when I broke in. Not break in for money, broke in to get screwed, and then 2 years later break in properly. You know what I'm talking about, Clobby. You know what I'm talking about. And women in comic books tend to be very specific in their taste, so they will follow, say, 3 titles or less, or maybe 5 titles or less, but they will follow every issue, and they are completists, and they will get very deeply into the story, into the nuance, into the subtext, and that's why ever since I first, even when I knew I was not going to get paid and get screwed, I always consciously was drawing stuff for the opposite gender as much as I was drawing stuff for the men, even though in the 80s they were a tiny component of our readership. But by the 90s, I was thinking, yeah, okay, I got some good rationale and justification for doing some good hair and some sexy male poses that are still completely, honestly male. And hey, Henry Cavill, how you doing? You know what I mean? And because I respect the Henry Cavill sexiness. And if I'm going to draw a man, I'm going to draw a man, baby. You know what I mean?
He doesn't work for me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't work for me. I also don't like Momo.
Okay,
Momo.
no, okay. Can I? I'll go back to the 60s then. I'll go back to the 60s. If I was going to draw a male, and I wanted to make him interesting but appealing to women and also appealing to men, men for what he does, women for, oh, I wouldn't mind him offering to buy me a cocktail. Straker. I would go for Straker.
There you go. Now you hit her.
Do you know who I really like right now, who I think is a really great action hero? And Chris Persian knows his name. I don't, because I'm not a geek. It's the new Reacher.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he's cool. It's a cool show.
Handsome, big, handsome, very manly. That works for me. I don't like them too built, but if they're built, they should be big. But I don't like the meathead type. But I like the new Reacher. The new Reacher works for me.
He's kind of
well. There's a big difference between naturally well proportioned and steroid dumbass. You know?
Yeah. I don't like the guys who poke themselves in the bum and they're all bald and they have shriveled up testicles. Those guys, you know what I mean? Like steroids do not do a body good. You wind up with muscles and nothing else. And but that new guy, Alan Richson, Classic Comics says, thank you so much, Classic Comics. Mark my words, he is our new superhero. He is so
he's already played one.
And he's a good actor, and you believe in him as a superhero. You believe in him as like this special agent, this guy who is in the military. You know he's brilliant. Plus, he can pop your head like a pimple. Like he's it. He's it. I
Did
love,
you-
love, love him.
It doesn't
Didn't he-
like Gore
I
saying, pop your head like a pimple.
Isn't he the guy that didn't he play Aquaman on that Smallville or that I think like a Smallville or something or like a failed pilot?
I don't know. I don't watch television. We'd have to
I was
ask the chat.
And he
But,
played Hawk on that crappy Titans show too. So
yeah, I don't know about that, but I do know that I
he's played
know
superheroes
nothing
before.
about Reacher. I now know that I believe it's a comic. My husband Andrew made me watch it for a few minutes. He's like, let's just give this a try. And I don't usually like these sort of things because it's the little guys, it's like little Matt Damon, it's little Tom Cruise. It's like these little pocket guys, and they try and make you believe that they're like these 6'5" guys, and that they're throwing these bodies all around the place and they're brutalizing everyone. And they're just like, what are they, like $1.25 each? And so it's so nice to have Alan Richson
You're not a fan of
around.
leprechaun gods?
Yeah, so, but I never used to be like this until Clobby started talking to me about this, and we were on the Global Geek Gang, and we started talking about how men are objectified in comics, and it's okay, but when women are objectified, it needs to be corrected. And when it happens to a man, it's like the women have a right to do that, but when it happens to a woman, men are being disgusting. And so I started thinking about the roles these men play, and if they're believable or not, especially when these girls that are like 5'1" and they're like 110 pounds and they're beating up like 50 guys and robots and men that are like 6'5", and all they have to do is just punch him in the face one time, when we know that would not do anything at all. She would need to kick him in the head. I started thinking about all this stuff, and I'm starting to understand what Clobby means. Like I now understand why I like the 1940s Batman, and now I know why I like Alan Richson, because these are guys who I can believe in, like Clint Eastwood. He's an actual, he's a guy. He'll kick your butt in real life.
Well,
Anyway.
to back you up on that, and I hope Clobby will agree with this, we know that culturally there may be certain things that the current guy who plays Captain America says that may irritate certain people. I don't want to go into that in detail, but Clobby knows what I mean. But Mr. Richson, if his hair was made really blonde, could be an excellent Steve Rogers.
Ironhide, hello there. Yeah, but he could definitely look the part.
What?
That's for sure.
Really?
You see Ironhide 84. Actually, I think Evans is he's an idiot in real life, but I love his casting. I know, and by the way, he's short, but movie magic.
Movie magic. But what about that?
I wouldn't want anyone else playing Captain America. However, I think Richard. No, I wouldn't. I like him that much. Too bad he's ruined the character there for him now. Marvel's ruined him. But I think he's perfect as Cap. But I'm not saying you're wrong that he wouldn't be a good casting. Also, no.
Well, eventually we have to substitute characters, and actors for characters, and I don't have a problem with that. Number one, because of Doctor Who, but also because I'm a James Bond fan. Okay, and now maybe I always prefer Sean Connery, the great Pictish king of James Bond, but that doesn't mean I did not appreciate Man with a Golden Gun. That doesn't mean I didn't appreciate other things Roger Moore did. It doesn't mean I didn't appreciate Pierce Brosnan, and it doesn't mean I didn't appreciate our Aussie guy who was in Her Majesty's Secret Service, okay, and who also dated my godmother for about 2 weeks. But and he got screwed on the script. It wasn't his fault. A lot of the complaints that people have about that particular actor, that was not his fault. They had a director who was mainly working in television, not film, didn't quite understand the whole James Bond thing. But what I'm leading up to is we can switch actors for roles and be okay with it. They just have to be the right choice with the right script.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying I'm not the big on switching actors on some stuff. I'm sorry. I have some basically here's where it comes like this. Here's where I come down on that kind of thing. Because it's very important, because in 2008 and 2009, this argument became big. Because Jar Jar Abrams was hired by that piece of trash, Les Moonves, to turn Star Trek into a cash cow in movie theaters. And so he recasts these people to the filth for the first '09 filth movie. And my first thing was like, first of all, nobody else is ever going to be these characters. I don't care if these are younger versions or not. William Shatner's Kirk.
Yes.
Nobody else is.
Firm and final. Firm and final. Not even up for debate.
I agree with that.
Now, these characters are not the same as James Bond, Superman, Batman, whatever. Multiple people can play them, and we can like one guy better than another, and that's all fine and good. But these characters were co-created by Gene Roddenberry, some writers, but mainly Gene Roddenberry and these actors.
That's right.
So that's why, I mean, obviously a younger version, like young Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford couldn't play young Indiana Jones, but because that character, Indiana Jones, was specifically crafted for movies and not a literary character, I'm not interested in seeing anyone ever play him, for better or worse.
Agreed.
Same with Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or the Star Trek characters. That's just me. People say, oh, you could recast anybody. No, you can recast characters that originated in another medium, comic books and books. I have no problem with that. When they were created for a TV show or even a specific movie, just me, no one else should ever play them, and no one else will ever be that character. You will never satisfy me with anyone else trying to call himself James T. Kirk, which won't happen.
Yeah, it's stupid. And when they try, it's so phony. It's like somebody trying to give you a $3 bill. It's like somebody pissing on your leg and telling you it's raining. That there is no other Kirk. There's only Bill Shatner. Yeah. There is only one Spock. It's not a mantle. It's not a mantle. It's just Leonard Nimoy.
They are the character.
It's true. I love what Claude is saying here. Minimus is what did he say about Hulk? He said that Alan Ritchson guy could have played Hulk, and he didn't, and he wouldn't need CGI. God bless you, Minimus. I mean, I love you, and I hate you because you make me buy too many books. You're a terrible, wretched man, but I also love you because wouldn't it be wonderful to have a practical Hulk again? A practical Hulk would blow my mind. And you know what? They're trying to get into the female market. They're trying to bust into the female market. And what do they give us? She-hump. They don't give us something proper. They give us she-hump. If they gave me Hulk with Richardson and it was practical, I would be watching the Hulk again. I would. I respectfully disagree because the Hulk has to be bigger than life. I want him comic book accurate. I like the Lou Ferrigno show for what it was, but as a kid, I'm going, he's just a guy with who's big and green. He's not big enough to throw tanks around or fight monsters. And was Lou Ferrigno big enough to throw around tanks?
No,
I
didn't
love
throw
Lou Ferrigno.
I love that show. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying, if you're going to have it in the Marvel universe, the Hulk has to be big enough to do what he does. I mean, he has to be CG'd.
No,
I'm sorry, he does.
No.
Now that guy can play him, and then they could use some effects on him. He can't be man size, no matter how big the man is. The Hulk is bigger than that in comic books.
This ain't no echo chamber, folks. This ain't no echo chamber.
Okay,
I want the comic book
Claudia
character.
is one of the best friends I've ever had in my life, and we agree on 99.99999% of everything. But on this, no.
You can't have you can't believe a normal man-sized guy running around throwing tanks around and just leaping for miles and stuff.
I know. The chat's agreeing
Hulk
with
smash.
me. We got some Lou for
I mean, I don't want to see the Incredible Social Worker again. That show was it was okay for what it was. But bullets didn't even bounce off of him.
You heard that here first, folks. That was coined by our captain.
That
These
show
Incredible Social.
He'd walk around and he'd get a new job because this is the seven. You couldn't do that show today. And he would solve everybody's problems, and then after the second Hulk out, he would have to move on.
Yeah.
No, it had no budget. It's exactly right, Phantom Outsider.
Social worker.
Okay. Clubby, now I'm going to have to agree with you after disagreeing with you on other subjects. All right. And forgive me, Raquel, forgive me. But when I was a kid, I was looking at the Incredible Hulk show, which did get shown here in Australia because we don't have the money of the population to make our own bloody shows that aren't soap operas. And so we would, Canada understands, although they have their own genre entertainment that they do remarkably well at creating. But, Australia, tyranny of distance, blah, 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 etc. And I'd be sitting there every episode going, but when does the real Hulk show up?
Yeah,
Shame on you.
He's a dude painted green.
Because this is what my relative does when she's helping out in the therapy sessions in the group. And
Right.
she's, and it just reminded me of what other people, the adults in my life, had to do for a living. And there was all this stuff about the cops chasing him. And I had a family in law enforcement. And I'm thinking, I want escapism. This is just making me feel like I'm hearing the adults at Thanksgiving at 1 a.m. talking about their jobs.
As a kid, I'm going, oh man, at least when he hulks out it's something, but it's not the same. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm watching that.
And I didn't read comics. So for me, when I saw Lou Ferrigno, he didn't even seem like he was real. He seemed absolutely otherworldly. He was incredible. He was the Hulk. He was the Incredible Hulk.
I do like the show now. I'm just saying that doesn't fit in with a comic book universe when you're having aliens flying around, you're having Thor flying around with his hammer, you're having Spider-Man and Iron Man and all these characters with powers and stuff running around. The Hulk needs to be the Hulk, not the muscle, not the bodybuilder, green guy. I mean, not
I understand. I understand your position.
And I'm right, of course.
But okay, you did your raspberry. I'm going to back up the captain here because a lot of times I'm going to back you up even when I disagree with the captain.
Look at Jill.
It's okay because I got the chat has my back, so I'm okay.
No,
we have a
believe
nice
me.
mixture of opinions in here.
No, they all like everyone. No one's saying they dislike the show. They like the show, but they do understand that the current Marvel MCU, when it was still good, had to have the Hulk be comic book accurate.
But the thing about
who's here?
Let him in. Let him in.
I did. Did I do?
Hi.
Oh, thank God. Hello, man.
Mark D with AC. How are you?
Hey.
I want to pleasure to be our first live stream together. Thank God.
Yeah. My voice isn't the best, but
hug for you.
Right?
Thank you, Stunt Rat. I appreciate you. How's it going, man? What's up?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, thank you for those nice comments. I figured I'd pop in and say hi to Hungry Boy, even though my voice is tanked.
Oh no, it's okay. No, it's tanked, but it sounds interesting but different. It's not bad, but it's not you. But wow, that's interesting. That's like worthy of a voiceover in a strange 1957 horror supernatural radio play as the narrator.
Maybe I'll do some voiceovers.
Honey, I'm so sorry. Send in a hug.
Well, I brought back an unwanted visitor from South Carolina. Yep. So, so it came down with the vid, but I'm not feeling that bad.
Oh
my voice has been shut off.
Been yelling too much?
I was yelling too much with the Yankees losing 4 straight. Yeah. So
no,
it was a good trip. So the good thing was we went visit cousins, and we went to Charleston for like 3 days, and then the way back to my cousin's house in Myrtle Beach. Man, I'm not feeling that great tonight. Getting the chills a little bit. Like, yeah, suck it up. It's vacation. And the last 2 days I haven't felt great, but not that bad. But today my voice just tanked, I guess. So,
yikes.
But not feeling too bad. But,
chicken soup.
Chicken soup, but I can't go to work tomorrow anyway now. So I can't go to work.
Popsicles will help your throat. Get some popsicles.
Oh,
do you know what popsicles are?
Yeah, yep, I got.
That's what you call them there, hey? I don't take it for granted now because I know in some places they call Freezies Otter Pops. But
they like popsicles here.
Get some popsicles, honey.
Hey, Mark. Yep. I got a suggestion. Sell that Galactus Funko and buy some gelato for your throat.
Right? Yikes. Yeah, and then of course the HasLab Galactus shipped this week.
Did it show up?
Yeah, of course it shows up on my porch when my wife is like,
God,
that big box.
I saw a picture of some people putting it on their desk. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculously big. I never should have bought it.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
So Maureen saw it before you did on the porch?
Well, she's like, there's a big box there.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
well, that other box must be an anniversary present for you.
Damn,
that
dude.
other one is. I was like, of all the weeks, right?
Instantly busted.
Always
Crazy as
busted.
cross.
But I just put it away. I'm like, oh, it's just something for work. So it is for work,
goodness.
yeah.
Goodness.
But I
Yeah,
guess
it's
I don't
a
know if
work
the
thing.
reviews on it have been good. I hope the knees don't fall apart.
Yeah, it's tall. Holy crap, is that thing big?
Well, it's
But
behind me right now. I'm not going to turn my camera on, but it's.
You brought it. Did you break it out?
No, I just have it in the box. I figured you'd want to do an unboxing with me, probably.
I would be happy to. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
But it is a big. I don't know where I'm going to put the.
If you don't
damn
mind me
thing.
making fun of Hasbro the whole time.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I was a moment of weakness. I was.
You did you did a bad thing, but we'll forgive
And got
you.
caught immediately. That's the bad thing. He was caught immediately before he could even get it over the threshold. You were porch
Yeah.
caught.
You're the
was a
guy
porch
that jumps in front of the train and wonders why you splattered everywhere.
But the rewards are great because Captain Infinity is saying how much he admires your toy cave.
Yeah, he said I
Yes.
used to admire your toy.
But now you got a Funko. Now he knows you have a Funko. He doesn't have any respect for you.
I
Nothing.
only have a few Funkos.
Oh, I see
not
that. I
many.
see that now. I see that now. Sorry.
Not that
He
many
only-
Funkos.
to be fair, Captain Infinity only has a few Funkos, and I've given him enough hell about it. So
Remember what I said earlier, folks. Sandman. He watched the filth.
he's blaming you for Sandman, dude. Even
I
I
didn't have to watch it.
Now I've got to defend Mark on Sandman.
You gotta
gotta
defend
do
him on that
Oh,
one.
geez, I'm playing hot frog here. Oh, geez. I understand exactly why he suggested it to you, Raquel.
He
It
didn't
was-
suggest it. He didn't
It was an
suggest it.
ill-advised position.
He didn't know. He
It was an
didn't suggest
ill-advised position, but he meant the best. I know he meant the best.
No,
I didn't
Hunter,
suggest
he
it.
actually didn't suggest
He
it.
didn't
Yeah,
suggest
I did
We
it.
were talking that night. He said, "Oh, that
Oh.
Sandman thing came out. I guess I got to go watch that." I think that's what he said. Isn't that right?
I said no. Wow, Sandman's dropping today. I didn't hear anything about it dropping.
Oh.
the
And
show
he's
is
gonna
out.
go watch it.
Sandman's dropping this weekend. He said it in the context of like 3 or 4 things that were being released on the weekend.
Right.
And so I thought,
Good night,
Mark's
JD
cool.
Lewis.
I'm gonna
Night,
do
Take care,
it.
JD.
Good night, JD.
So we got to defend him on this one. This is all Kel's fault, but it's still fun to blame Mark though, because
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I
it's
blame
not
him
his fault.
anyway.
We always blame him for stuff anyway.
Blame me anyway. Yeah. Blame Canada next.
Blame
What?
Canada. Hello there, Michelle's back. Good to see you.
Did you hear
Um,
what happened on the show on was it Saturday or no, was Thursday? It was Thursday. Do you know that I did not see any of the pre-show video?
I remember that.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
And we
I
blamed
don't
it
think
on
Mark
you.
knows about that.
But
No,
I wasn't
no.
here.
I
I
heard
know,
every.
but we were
I
doing
heard
we were
everything
blaming it
you were
on you to
saying.
make everyone laugh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What
And
happened?
you
Let me
guys
see
were
if I can
wondering
remember
if
what
we were
happened.
really hearing you, and we were hearing everything.
right? And I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
see anything. And then and also on Saturday night Star Trek, when the Cardassian virus affects the whole space station, I was
Yeah.
hoping you were listening in, and I said, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? And no one laughed. Where were you, Mark? Where were you, Mark? D with a C?
Out celebrating my anniversary.
I
Like,
know. I'm just
28
kidding.
years.
We
and,
sang
and,
to you.
and then I told was getting in a cab and like it's 20 we're celebrating our 28th year being married, and it seems like just yesterday. And I get, my twinkle in my eye, and then he's like, I'm going to use that line. Like, it doesn't seem that long. Seems like just yesterday, but
Aw, congratulations.
And Claude is saying, was that Galactus really 400? I don't want to look at my credit card bill to see what
I
it
think
really
it's
was.
more than that.
It was
I believe.
412.
For something, right?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
expensive,
What are you
yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
I know I'm an addict on this stuff. I
But
confess.
I know.
Michelle
a-
says she's going to be cosplaying on her birthday. Yeah, they're cool.
Oh,
Jinx.
nice.
I don't think I know who
Cool.
Jinx is. Anyone here know who Jinx is?
Not me.
No, sorry.
Michelle, I got to admit, none of us know who Jinx is, except for her 31st to be cosplaying that. So I'm sure someone here knows. So if you could let us know who that is. So we're good at Michelle. Usually I'd consider it the con, like when I used to go to Dragon Con and watch the costumes go by and know at least 70% of them. But that's one. Oh, from a TV show called Arcane. I've heard of the show. I've not seen it. So there you go. Thank
Michelle,
you.
you're pregnant right now, though. You could have played that guy from Total Recall. You just open it up, Queen.
I don't know if you've seen Little
Like,
Total
you know,
Recall.
if you're pregnant, if I were pregnant right now, I would definitely do the
Wow.
mutant guy who
Quado?
opens up his jacket. He's like, Queen!
That's Quado.
Quado, yeah, Quado!
Quado.
Wow.
Barf.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
I love
hey
it.
Raquel, Grody.
I know,
That
it's
is grody.
grody.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
grody.
it's funny.
Love the movie though. Love the
What
movie.
about the girl with 3 boobs? Who's gonna play her?
Me?
I have no idea.
I'll do it. Yeah, that'd be-
We
Mine-
could get
my
you a special
cosplay.
bra and you could play her.
Yes, I'm up for that one there.
That photo was popular during Nick's Toxic Tuesday when we did Total Recall. Yeah,
Oh Lord, yeah, that's right. You did.
they
Total
kept saying
Recall
go back.
recently.
They kept saying go back, go back. Let's slide again.
No toxic this week, is there?
Oh no, it's there is a Toxic Tuesday.
Oh yeah, it's the
It's,
Crow.
The Crow.
The
Yep.
Crow on Nick's
Halloween
channel. There
thing,
you
yep.
go. Tomorrow night, you guys are doing the Crow. That's right.
Yep. I gotta watch that and clip that. Yep. Hopefully I'll be survive. Maybe I'll just stay in the background for that show. My
You'll be-
voices. Yep.
You'll be 29, Michelle. You youngster.
Wow.
Yeah, but I can't remember that far back. Everyone's
Yeah.
guessing stuff like Jinx, Pokemon, but apparently I've not. I've heard of Arcane. I just don't know. I think I've heard of it. I know it's a Netflix
Arcane
show.
is very popular with the EFAP guys.
Okay, they
So,
like it.
Mauler really.
Mauler likes it.
Yes, he
Yeah, he does,
adores
that's right.
Arcane, and it
right.
it passes muster for his storytelling logistics test.
That's right. I have heard him say he likes it. Mahler's a very picky, a great hero to me, by the way, for what he did to
Ditto.
Snyder. But he
A
is
good
a
young
cool dude.
Welshman.
Yep, I really like Mahler. But yeah, he does like Arcane. I heard him mention that to Gary one time, I think. So,
And when he's making fun of stuff, he goes by Mueller, and that's his other channel, Mueller. I love Mueller, and
right.
sometimes I refer to him as Das Mueller because he's got his
yes,
got-
yes.
he's got his German friend, on the show all the time, and they make fun of him and his Teutonic aspect. So you gotta give a little bit of that love back at Das Mueller.
There you go. D-Bud says, my internet girlfriend 6 will be on Toxic Tuesday. Pass right.
Oh,
They're
love
gonna have
Six.
They're going to have a
Six is
lady
fantastic.
who loves 6. Love you, 6. Is
I
going to
love
be on with
Six.
the boys tomorrow
Right.
night. You can handle
Hicks
it.
is my partner in crime.
Diversifying.
Yeah.
Together we bullied Clubby into monetizing himself.
And also, she's got a dark, husky voice,
Yeah.
which is delightful.
We love 6.
Is her voice dark and husky?
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
we love
don't-
6.
Demi Moore.
You're married,
Right.
Raquel. Don't do that.
So yeah, there you go. That's for that. Hungry Boy. Let's see. All these years that you've been hanging out with us, or it's been a while, year over year, something like that. And I have nothing to ask you. I would have probably, I could always ask you stuff when you're there, and now I have two. There's so many things. I wouldn't know where to start to ask you stuff about comics and different things.
Okay. Well,
but-
how about I got one for you? Can I put a question in your mouth? Oh, that sounded bad.
You can sure. I'm
Please
single.
don't.
Rephrase that, please.
I'm single. Go ahead.
Okay. Why would Hungry Boy, being a science fiction monster guy, get into comic books at a young age? And when did you start? When did you decide to become a comic book artist?
Okay. What you just said.
Is that an okay question, though? Is that all right?
I think it's cool. Yeah. I'm usually I think a halfway decent interviewer, but for some
you're
reason,
great,
it's just
dude,
so
dude,
many
you're great.
things.
You are fantastic. You are
Thank you.
fantastic on so many levels. I'm going to gush here. I don't care. Raquel understands that with Irish blood, it's not gushing, it's appreciation, and other people misunderstand that.
You're too
And-
kind. Thank you.
And let me just say before I go into explaining that little bit that I was prefacing, that I said this in the membership stream, and I'm going to say it again now for the public. You have mentioned several times over the past year that comic books as an industry can be a heartbreaker, and a lot of us turn away from it, and we get burned, and we get upset, and
Yeah.
our hearts are broken. And I had pretty much given up on publicly or even privately espousing my love for the medium. And then I encounter you on Paulie's channel. I immediately sub to your channel. I start seeing what you're talking about Star Trek. I discover what you're talking about on this particular show on Mondays. And you rekindled my appreciation, my love, and everything else I have for the medium. It's the media itself, but medium particularly because there's associated media. Raquel understands there's medium and media, but the medium itself, the putting pictures in boxes, relating to other boxes, relating to the splash, relating to the cover in an ongoing storyline, and how that is pristine, that is perfect, and it talks to a portion of the soul that is not covered by television and not covered by film, and you rekindled that fire into a burning furnace in my heart.
Oh my goodness! Thank you, sir. I still don't know what to say to that, but I do appreciate it.
I don't think he realizes how his intelligence and his passion is why so many people, find themselves in his orbit.
Yes.
Hungry Boy. I don't think he realizes it because he's very humble, self-deprecating. But I love his passion as well. It's so nice to speak to somebody, isn't it, Hungry Boy, who isn't wishy-washy, and so you and I can have these super engrossing conversations with him because he doesn't shy away from saying what he thinks, and there's something behind it. His opinions are well fleshed out. He's an educated person, and so it's just so much fun, isn't it? He's so much fun.
And he's got a big heart. He's not just this big macho guy. See, he's Ben Grimm. He is Ben Grimm. He is tough. But, the moment somebody who doesn't deserve to get picked on is getting picked on, it's clobbering time.
That's for sure. I am Ben J. Grimm, the ever-loving brown-eyed thing.
So I thought you'd be
buddy.
Oh, well, it's meant from the heart, and I don't bullshit. This is something I spoke about with Captain Finity, which is I am able to compliment, but I am not capable of flattery, because compliment is it is a compliment. A compliment is a recognition of a benevolent truth spoken objectively, whereas flattery may or may not be true. It is spoken for the pure purpose of gaining something from the person hearing the flattery, and those are two separate things.
Are you saying flattery will get you nowhere?
With me,
I had to throw a cliche in there at you. Just
no, it wasn't a cliche. It's a truism. Sometimes it's a truism, not a cliche.
Thank you. No,
okay.
And with I really appreciate those words, my friend. You're too kind. And I don't. Raquel will tell you, no, I can't. I have to hate myself so much that I'm fighting the urge to be mean to myself just after you do something like that. But thank you.
I know. That's okay. I'll make a joke about you on Tweety, and it'll compensate, and it'll be fine. And then you can ignore the joke. But I mean, the funny thing was, and this is something Mark will appreciate, because I do want to sort of, bring Mark into this. Mark understands what it means to be a monster kid, and Mark knows what I mean to be a Gen X monster kid. Famous monsters, 4A Ackerman, about Ultraman. So I was a monster kid first, and then that brings me into science fiction. So by the age of 5, I am already a massive Outer Limits fan at age 5.
Let me just
that'll give you some nightmares.
Interrupt you just 1 second because Raquel does have to run.
Oh no, Raquel, bye.
Yes.
I wish I could stay later, but it's a school night for Andrew. He has to work very early in the morning. So I actually hate that I have to leave, but I really do. And I just want to thank everyone in the chat for coming tonight. I want to thank the Wrenches for helping to keep this place, just a wonderful place to have a great conversation. You were all wonderful conversationalists. I want to thank the great Mark D with a C for joining us tonight. Mark, please feel better. You know how much we love you. And Hungry Boy, I love you, honey. You're the official artist of Clobbering Times. You're also the official artist of my book, which is very exciting. I can't wait for everyone to see your painting. And I just want to say goodnight to Clobby. I love you, Clobby. Thank you for having me tonight.
For being here with us.
For letting me hang out with the guys and being on this panel. It was a total delight. And I'm sorry I have to scoot early. I love you all.
Thanks for hanging with us. Love you and have a great week.
Good night, everyone.
See you Thursday. Good night. Good night indeed.
Oh, no, I'm bummed out.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
Now the place just got a lot less classy.
Yeah, the class has left the building, folks. But we'll try to soldier on. So continue with it. What you got going there, Hungry Boy?
Well, the thing is, and Mark will understand this, is that your love of monsters and things that are beyond the ken of humankind leads you into science fiction, and then science fiction
does,
in
yeah.
turn, because so many comic books are I mean, Fantastic Four is a science fiction book. It's a science fiction with superhero book. And as
Absolutely.
was, you know, other work by Kirby, Thunder Agents. No, not Thunder Agents. Sorry.
I do love Thunder Agents, but that was Wally Wood and Gil Kane.
Yeah, I'm getting Stream Brain. What was the other one?
Challengers of the
Challengers of
Unknown.
the Unknown.
Challengers, yeah.
Yes, that was it. That was it. You have all these things that are very outer limits, all these things that are very, very Doctor Who, and then you see a certain comic book that has a significant science fiction element in it, and that is your, I hate to use this term, gateway drug. And
I hear you. Yeah.
and you think, okay, well, I'm into monsters and science fiction. I love the outer limits. Let me check out X-Men 106. Okay. And they use the word mutant. They're talking about the word mutant in comic books. First time I'd seen it used in comic books. And I remember the episode of The Outer Limits called The Mutant, which is one of the scariest episodes they ever did.
Wow.
And I am completely engrossed. I have no idea as a little kid that this art, which I consider great, is nowhere near as good as Cockrum, nowhere near as good as Byrne, nowhere near as good as Adams, but it's superior to some of the other things I've seen. And I think, well, this is an avenue. This is a potential career. And then I see Wizards by Ralph Bakshi in 1977, the same year Star Wars came out. And I'm looking at the credits, and I'm seeing in the art department, there are more than 50 people. And my little logical kid brain is going, okay, so if I want to do this for a living, I got to compete with all those people. And then I go back to X-Men 106, and I look at the credits box, and there are 6 people. And I think, ooh, I only have to compete with 6 people to get a job here. And then I see writer, well, I don't need to do that. Knock that off. Letterer, I don't want to be putting words in boxes. Knock that off. Editor, I don't know what that means. Ignore that. So you're only looking at pencil or ink or colorist, and I'm thinking, I don't really want to color anything. So then you only got to compete with your little kid brain logic. You only got to compete with 2 people to get the job. And I think, I'm going to be a comic book artist. By hook or by crook.
Nice. Dave Cockrum. I think you had Bob Brown or somebody on that one with Sutton inking or somebody
that
like
was
that.
Bob Brown. Yeah, and the inking didn't do him any favors, but that was a
Tom Sutton was not a good inker. Well,
that was what they call an inventory story, where you've got one that doesn't apply to the ongoing storyline, and it's in the drawer. They had the inventory story drawers in comic books, and I've done an inventory story before. Not fun, but money was good, and
that's good.
The royalties were really good.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, the royalties are really good for that inventory story. Although I'm not a fan of what I did on that story, but I was very young and very dumb. And I think we can all, you, me, and Mark, now that Raquel's gone, I think we can all, as men, say, sometimes we play back the VCR to when we were between 20 and 25 years old, and we just hold our heads in our hands and think, I wish I could forget this. I wish I could forget this. I wish I could forget the things I've done. I wish I could forget the things I said. I wish I could go back and fix this. But, the problem is with comic book art, once it's printed, it's committed. And by the time I was 13 years old, you know the term, and I think Mark does too, the term in comic books of being a lifer. A lifer in comic books, where it's never going to get out of your blood ever. And by 13, I was enjoying Grell's Warlord. I was enjoying Moon Knight. I was into the Legion. I was into Teen Titans. I had given up on the X-Men for various reasons we don't need to go into.
The X-Men went bonkers, yeah.
But I was heavily into the X-Men from Cockrum all the way through to Byrne, and then I was, at the age of 11, I was at flea markets trying to track down back issues of Kirby, and Neil Adams, and Jim Steranko. Jim Steranko was the unicorn. That stuff was really hard to track down. But
how old were you when you started to draw, Hungry Boy? How you started to do it on 7? Yeah,
3.5.
Wow. Cool, yeah.
3.5. And at that point, I was heavily into aquatic life. The octopus is still my favorite animal for over 50 years. And I did this picture with 3 images on it that the adults in my life were very impressed by, where I did a recognizable octopus, a recognizable cuttlefish, and a recognizable squid. And one of the adults said, why did you draw this octopus so differently 3 times? And I said, I'm sorry to ruin your expectations, because I was a precocious kid with language, but these are 3 different categories of animal. And I explained the difference between the squid, the octopus, and the cuttlefish. And they said, this kid's going into high aptitude classes. This is called machine.
Hey, Keely Chow, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, Keely! So yeah, I was drawing the aquatic animals. Then it moved into dinosaurs with a recognizable difference between the pterodactyl and the pteranodon. And then at the age of 5, you and Mark are both gonna like this, Globby. We were in kindergarten, and the teacher said, "Okay, class, I want you to draw a page of a story in your head. And you can take as long as you like or as short as you like, but it must be a complete story." And so all the other kids had 1 page, and I had 12.
Oh my God.
And it was my sequel to The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Oh, wow.
And the teacher must be like,
Nice.
what the heck?
Nice.
Oh yeah, she called up my parents twice to say, what is up with this kid?
And the other kids had like stick figures, and you've got like a full comic book.
Wow.
Exactly. I had the dragon. The dragon was making a comeback. I had the Cyclops making a comeback. The skeletons were a bit too hard for me, so I just did a skull on like a pillar of fire.
You slacker.
Yeah, I know. Totally. Hey, Gen X, baby. Gen X. We invented slacking. But no. So I did that, and later on, it was a week later. A week later, she's talking about dinosaurs and teaching us about dinosaurs, and she's mistaking the pterodactyl for the pteranodon. And I'm a very literal little kid, and I'm trying not to raise my hand. I'm trying so hard not to raise my hand. And then she does it again, and like the hand goes up. Hungry? Would you like to say something to the class? And I explained to her the difference and how there are millions of years of disparity between the pteranodon and the pterodactyl. And she says, well, would you like to teach the class about dinosaurs for a few moments? And because I was a little kid and I wasn't being snotty. I was just like, the teacher told me to do something. I'm going to do it. I don't mind obeying the rules. So I hop up and I get in front of the class and I said, okay, let's explain the difference between a pterodactyl and a pteranodon. And later, I'd like to explain the difference between an allosaurus and a tyrannosaurus, because we appear to have that wrong.
What grade is this?
Kindergarten.
Oh my God.
I didn't get that far. So.
I was 5, and she called my mother later, and my mother, she loves telling a story. I hate hearing this story. My mother's gone, God rest her soul, but when she was alive, she'd tell this story, and she'd say that the kindergarten teacher calls me up, and I think, oh God, who has he spooked now? And she loved me and was totally accepting, and she loved my little intellect and my artistic predilections. But the teacher says, no, he hasn't done anything wrong. I just want to say, I have been teaching kindergarten for 9 years, and I have taught dinosaurs every year. And your son got up and spoke for an hour before the bell rang for recess. That's the only reason we stopped. And I learned more in that hour than I have known for 9 years teaching about dinosaurs in kindergarten. And I want to tell you, your son is an amazing little person.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah.
Indeed.
That's awesome, man. Well, I had a moment like that in kindergarten too, or first grade. You're in the librarian. He said, "Who knows the story of Icarus?" And and so I got up and told the whole story of Icarus. And the teacher, there was a rhetorical question. My dad always told me the story of Icarus, and it was the mom called, they called the teacher called my mom and said, we didn't expect that, but when something really sticks in your head, and just that mythology too, it's not like it's studying or doing work. It was just, well, of course, everyone knows who Icarus was in that story, right? How could you not? So
exactly, but all the other kids are looking at you going, how do you know this?
You're a weirdo.
Yeah, a weirdo.
You didn't tell them that you read Eternals. So.
I didn't tell them that.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, Claudia, Eternals, that was another reason I got into comic books, because again, going back to science fiction, the celestial stuff, the cosmic stuff, I mean, that really, that and the Black Panther Kirby series from the 70s, that made me think, I have to do this. I got to do this. I know a lot of people grow up and they really like a certain phase of Kirby's art. And as you know, Claudia, and you've spoken about it many times, a lot of people have a problem with Kirby after 1973 visually.
Yeah.
No, not you, and not
Yeah,
Mark.
I know,
And
you're right.
but a lot of people sit there and they think, oh, they love Kirby 1966, but they can't handle this weird, wacky Eternal stuff and this T'Challa stuff, and how distorted it was. But it was distorted on purpose, and we know that from everything. Especially, God bless the Kirby Museum for talking about this stuff and having interviews up and all the stuff we can find online. But the science fiction aspect of the Eternals was a massive influence. And I thought, if, alongside the Legion, if there was anything I could be hired to do, I'd want to do the Eternals or the Legion.
Oh, that's right. You said you're a Legion fan like me, so long live the Legion there.
Massive. And no second, Firestorm is my guy.
Firestorm.
Firestorm, yeah. Wow. So who was the first comic book character you tried to draw? You know, as a kid, you say, "Oh, I'm going to try to draw it."
I never traced anything. A lot of guys would trace other guys' art when they were doing that. I never traced anything because that was disrespectful to the artist, because I hated it. I knew what the word plagiarism meant at the age of 7, and I despised it. But the first character, and Clobby's going to like this. I apologize for it not. I apologize for it not being Ben. I apologize.
Well, that's okay.
But it was Scott Summers with the Dave Cockrum visor.
Nice.
And the big Buccaneer boots, you know, those Cockrum Buccaneer boots.
Yeah. And the Buccaneer boots. Man, I love that costume.
And then the next one I tried to draw, and it was too much for me, I have to admit, but it was the first iteration of The Warlord by Grell.
Oh, nice. Oh, look at this. Andy Masterson's first was Blastar. Wow, nice. Great Kirby villain.
Oh, I love Blastar. Oh, and Paul Smith got to Barry Windsor Smith got to draw Blastar back when he was Barry Smith.
When he was Barry Smith, being told to draw like Kirby and just drawing like Kirby all the time.
But he did a good Blastar, and I know he had a lot to learn, and those knees that Barry would draw were bigger than the thighs on early Michael Golden art, and that's saying something.
I have the Blastar figure. They only ever made like one, probably, and I have it.
Wow.
Was that in the FF? Was that in the FF
line? Yeah, it was the Toy Biz 90s line there. Somewhere, you probably have it. But
good night, Minimus.
Good night, Minimus.
Good night, Claude.
Man.
So. What got you? We're gonna wrap it up in just 2 minutes, folks. Don't worry, we're gonna let you get in. I know we've been here for a while. I started the first hour. I bitched and moaned about Doctor Who. At least I didn't talk about. Well, I already reviewed Black Adam with J-Man and with Classic Comics. So, what got you into? Because I know you're a fellow Legion fan of sorts, or at least what got you into the Legion?
It was the science fiction aspect. It was the fact that it was in outer space. You had a whole bunch of people of non-Terran, to use the term, non-Earth backgrounds, species, etc. It was like, I hate to say this, and please, DC, don't hate me for saying this. It was like the Green Lantern Corps, but better. It
was similar, and there's a similarity I hear you for absolutely. Look, Legion is very Star Trek. I mean, the Legion is the most Star Trek superhero comic there is, maybe next to the FF anyway. But both are in a sense, but because it's in the 30th century, even more so.
And the costumes were magnificent, Clobby. I mean, even before Cockrum, but when Cockrum was designing costumes, holy mother of bleep bleep,
love them.
It sang to me, Clobby. Looking at it, I don't have synesthesia, but I got something close. Sometimes I look at something and I can hear it almost in my head visually, and sometimes when I'm listening to something, I can see how it would be a painting. But with Cockrum, it was like de facto synesthesia, and it was a beautiful symphony of lines. And when he would cut out areas of a female costume to show a little bit of skin, not too much, he was always tasteful. He was always respectful. And he respected the hip structure and the thigh structure of women to no end. And the hair, the cockrum hair, and he would do the hair in all these different ways, so science fiction. And with the guys, he would develop the different angles for the iconic shapes on their costume, and it was everything a little sci-fi loving artist could ask for. And so I just kept reading. I kept reading, and I was reading all the way until the 80s.
Love them. Love me some Legion. Nice. Long live the Legion there. So, well, man, I tell you what, we're going to have to, I think we've learned a lot here tonight. Just getting the hang of it has just been incredible, dude. It's just amazing. And we can start wrapping it up, though, because it is Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk. And
yes,
we've been on for about 2.5 almost. And I apologize, everyone, for not having much of a topic, but you don't need one when you have Hungry Boy.
You got Hungry Boy here. You don't need a topic.
And we had Raquel with us, and we had Mark with us. So, yeah, I did. But I shouldn't have talked about Doctor Who. I should have saved that for Wednesday night, but I couldn't help it. I just needed to.
Did you like it or hate it or just 30
did you
seconds?
See it? Have you seen it yet?
No, I didn't see it. I know what happened at the end, though.
They had they brought back some old doctors. They had
Purple Man is back.
Yeah, at the end, but they brought back some old doctors, and they found a pretty interesting way to do it. And we got to see Ace and Tegan and Soul Companions. All the stuff with some of the nostalgic member berries was really, episode's a mess. It's a dumb story. Everything bad because, it's chibi. It's terrible. But that stuff really got to me. Ace, there were a couple of things with Ace and the 7th Doctor and Tegan with 5th Doctor that really got to me.
They were well done scenes.
Well, it was just manipulative. It was cheap because you could.
It's like when Luke Skywalker came back.
Yeah. Put it this way, I think RTD must have gotten in there and done some stuff like that. So he had to. And so, yeah, it's I don't know.
But then, what about the end? What did
you see the ending? Did you see it?
I saw the spoilers, so I don't know if you're spoiling.
Yeah. Well, we're spoiling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're spoiler. Yeah, I mean, we get to see David Tennant for a minute, and he when he regenerates his clothes, her clothes regenerate into his clothes.
Yeah,
which makes me think there's something's fishy going on. So
yeah, I guess he's going to be on with. I mean, this is all news out there, but he'll be on 3 episodes with Donna.
I don't know. I guess we're going to get to see David Tennant as the Doctor again. I hope we get that for a while, but I don't know.
Allegedly, it's only going to be like 3 episodes, but yeah.
Yeah, well, let's hope it's good because we'll see. Well, you got the, next month is the 59th anniversary, and then they've got some kind of festive. They call them like a festive special now or whatever. I don't know what they've got in store, but it'll be a year before you see the next guy.
Wasn't it the Christmas special before?
Or whatever. They don't do Christmas specials anymore.
Oh, they can't call it Christmas.
They do
special.
it. No, they call it festive, and they do it on New Year's or something.
On New Year's, that's right.
Yeah. So, anyway, so Hungry Boy, man, I can't thank you enough for being here tonight, man. Will you have any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to end up with? Because everyone, again, you've been with us for so long in that chat for so long, like all of our great friends in the chat, and now they're finally getting to hear you talk a little bit. Do you have anything to say to them or anything like that before we get out of here?
Yes, I would like to say that as much as I complimented you, and I appreciate you taking the compliments, and as much as I've complimented Mark and Raquel, and I appreciate them taking the compliments, I would like to compliment everyone in the chat, because this is not just a channel. This is a true community without being communist. Sorry, I am going to say that. Where it is a group. No, I am going to say that. And it is a group of individually minded people who take the time to appreciate each other, make each other laugh, have a bit of debate, and understand there is a difference between a debate and a knockdown, drag out fight. And that is very similar to family. It is acquired family versus born family.
Right.
And during these times we live in for the past 2.5 years, nothing could be more important. Nothing could be more beneficial. And when you can make another human being laugh, it is actually proven, medically proven, that if a human being can laugh hard 3 times a day, it improves their overall health by more than 10%. And
Wow.
we laugh a lot here. We laugh a lot. We enjoy each other. We help each other laugh. And we also allow each other to rekindle what we loved and still want to love about science fiction and comics and adjacent media and genres. And therefore, this show is and all the shows you run are a boon, BOON, and a blessing. And it just means the world to me to be a part of this and be appreciated by a man such as you. And when I was having to do 23 hours sometimes without food or sleep in order to make the deadline, it was because of guys like you and guys like Mark and guys like Minimus and guys like Brian and guys like D-Bud and women like Anti-Derivative Jill and women like Raquel that made me think, I got to keep pushing the pencil. It's for them. It's not for the man. It's not for the company. It's for them.
Wow.
Well, that's high praise. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I don't know what to say, buddy, but I'm just so excited to finally have you here, and we will do it again. Like I say, I know you have, you don't have only so many times you're able to do, or so often you're able to do it because you were telling us, you're busy, you do stuff, but you have an open invitation, and let's do it definitely more regularly, definitely more often, because then I'll think of some stuff to ask you. Because I do it to you all the time when you're in the chat. I say, "Hey, Hungry Boy," and I yell at you, say, "Hey, about this, how about that," and bounce stuff off of it. But it's not the same as having you here. Now here I have you here, and I don't know what to ask you first. It's just crazy.
And my hands don't work that well right now, the same as Dave Cockrum. So the thing is, like typing in the stream, I'm doing the 2-finger hunt and peck,
Okay.
the 2-finger hunt and peck, and it's
Yeah.
like, and now I'm on the microphone, I can answer you properly in time and get some words in
a
before
lot
we
easier.
move on to the next topic.
I was just ill prepared. I know.
I mean, I type like Thomas Edison would have typed.
I can't type either. So. But
it's a mutual love affair, Clobby, and it's an appreciation thing. And like I said, I do not flatter. I only compliment. That goes to you
Thank
too,
you.
Mark. That goes to you too. And that goes to Raquel. She understands that. And it goes to a whole bunch of other people. And it is an honor and a pleasure. It's now, after talking this much, I'm just going to need a week to recover before you ask me on again.
We'll take it easy on you, but we still want you to come back and hang with us. But
Anytime.
yeah, I mean,
Anytime.
look, you're so right. That what a great. I want to say we have a great crew here. Not obviously not just those of us who hang out and do on the stream, but in the chat. Members or not, anyone who hangs out, and we always forget to do this. It's just a derelict of me. We have great people who either listen to us later on a download or who work. They don't really participate in chat for whatever reason. They're either riding around, they're listening to this like a podcast type thing, or someone doesn't really feel like chatting. Either way, and I just really appreciate all of you who do that, and everyone who listens later on a download. It means so much to me, and I really just thank you all. But we have a great crew here too. We have a great chat. If I listen to a lot of shows myself. I watch a lot of different YouTube channels myself. I know you both do as well. Yeah. And if I can, I like to stop and say hi to the chat to these chats. And I know a few people a lot of times when I stop in these chats just to say hello for a few minutes because they're our friends now. And
yes.
when I'm able, I do stop in and say hello because it is it's just what a big cool like fellowship we have here, to use that term.
And as you have said, and Raquel has said, and Mark has said, and I want to reiterate this, full credit to you, this is just the cybernetic version, the digital version of people accidentally meeting at conventions, and we all end up going to one con party at about 9 p.m. at night, and it goes on till 3 a.m., and we realize, holy crap, we're going to be friends for a long time. You remember that, don't you? You remember those times?
Yeah.
Look, I've made all the greatest friends I've made in my life. All of them have been through a geek venue. Now, before the days of the internet, it was I made a couple in school when I was a kid, of course, but as far as, I think I have from school, maybe one that I still keep in contact from, like since the 4th grade. I got one friend that we still talk. Other than that, all of my greatest friends have come from when I started running a comic shop at the age of 17 in the early 80s, because I'm a little bit older than you, sounds like, from what the age you're telling me. So from the comic shop, and then in a couple of cases, different cons or geek groups, like there was a Doctor Who group that we had in town back in the 80s, Star Trek gatherings, things like that. But always comic shops or, adjacent, geek venues. Let's put it like that. Yeah, and that carried over into the internet many years later when things started, it just became on a global scale, obviously, because I've actually made a lot of friends on the internet, especially since around 2008 when the Trek Space Wars started. I'll have to tell you all about the Trek Space Wars one day, about the Jar Jar filth and stuff. And now moving on through my podcast on Blog Talk Radio, and then here on YouTube, I've made so many fantastic friends. It's just incredible. So, and you, of course, you both are two of them right there. And you, Hungry Boy, have become a great friend. So many wonderful friends here in the chat. I mean, just amazing. And Mark D with a C has become a good buddy of mine. He's lucky we don't live close to each other, because I'd come knock on his door. I'm just kidding. I would not, dude. I'm not that type. I stay home. I'm too. I don't even. Minimus lives around the corner. I don't even go to his house. He's mad at me because I don't go hang out over there all the time.
Yeah, but we could see each other once in a while.
But yeah, we could at least go to Twin Peaks and get you in trouble.
But Clobby, if Mark was doing one of those barbecues for 25 people, you'd be knocking on the door.
No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't. In all seriousness, though, I would want to hang like at Twin Peaks with him and stuff, and go maybe hit the comic shops or the bookstores with him. But seriously, I don't go. I stay home. I don't go. I mean, Minimus gets annoyed with me for not coming to over to his house that much. So, so don't worry, Mark. I'm not that type. But you could come over and bug me.
You can show up anytime. Anyway. Open invite. You can show up anytime. Yep.
But you'd have to go to. I don't know if you could go to Twin Peaks with me once in a while at least, man.
Well, tell my wife that's a place that's about mountain climbing.
It's about mountain, yeah. It is, really. So thank you, Stud Brat. Anyway, thank you all for being here tonight. Show notes are not particularly anything big. Wednesday night I'll be here. I don't think I can make it to Loki's comic roundtable this week. But I'll be on my show Wednesday night, and Thursday night the clubhouse will be in session. And then Friday night there will be no Nick's comic book shop because he'll be at the big meetup. Yeah, the big Orlando meetup. I wish I could go to that with those guys.
Nice. Yep.
And then Saturday night Star Trek will be here. So can I
give a special shout out to the new people we've got in the CLOBBERIN Club with the family? I'd like to thank Lemon Pie for doing the crossover to this channel. I'd like to very much thank Stunt Brat, who I have seen on another channel that handles drive-in movies and genre movies. Sure. She's fantastic for that. And I would very much like to thank Michelle, who is very much into the Nordic and the Irish metaphysical and storybook stuff. That's code. For, she says Wiccan and Pagan, I say storybook. That's just so we don't get in trouble with, any algorithms. I'd like to thank her for coming in and all the new people who come in every time. I was that new person just over a year ago.
And we love it when new people come in. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, so our shout outs are as follows tonight, folks. Of course, the great J-Man was here. I think he had to run. Had a great time hanging out with him, reviewing Black Adam the other night. Of course, the great LT, Lord Thoth, was here. Got to hang out with him the other night at Nick's show. We give everybody a shout out here when we can, folks. We'll go through it really quick, though. We want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I want to thank Michelle O'Rourke Johansson. I love you, dear. Thank you for popping in, and thanks for joining us and hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. I gotta say, there's always so many guys here. The guys just like it when the ladies stop by and say hello. I'm sorry, we're toxic males that way. Phantom Outsider, brother, always a pleasure. The great Chris Podaja was here tonight. Of course, the great vindicator of the wrenches. There he is. And of course, also with us tonight was the great D. Bud Martin, the wrench of iron. Go Tuska.
Tuska!
And Eric K was not here with us tonight, but we always honor the Bronze Wrencher. He's probably busy doing some streaming out there. I mean, he does a lot of work out there, so probably busy, but we love the great Eric K. Classic Comics. Again, thanks for having me on last night, hanging out with you, talking Black Adam. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, Lemon Pie, so much for being here. Thank you, Classic. I said Classic Comics, but thank you again for Classic Comics. Brian Hepburn, Kal-El. I'm going to get everybody, too. Wagner. Takes a second, but you're all worth it. You're all worth it because we love having you here. But it takes a second sometimes. The
And
wonderful
the
Apollo.
Pictures King, that 70s fan. That 70s, great to see you.
Oh, is he here? Kamloops.
Yes,
Oh.
he showed up and he says, I just made it in time. Thank goodness you did.
Hey.
Zardoz forever.
70s. Good to see you there, buddy.
Zardoz rules. Yep.
Indeed. Brian Hepburn, the Ptolemy's Minion, and the Pupper, Das Wolfen. Dave J. Sound. I hope you're doing better, buddy. Let's see. Did I say Kal-El? Even if I didn't. Kal-El. Even if I did. Kal-El.
Say it again.
Good to see you, Kal-El, buddy. Trevor Cunningham. Claude Salling. Minimusness was also here, by the other Claude. Claude, more Claude than Claude. This indeed, the Claude. Hang on, everybody. I'm gonna get everybody. I promise. We're not gonna miss anybody tonight. We gotta get them all because this is such a big, spectacular night that everyone showed up. The great Andy Masterson was here, and again, Andy Masterson just had such a terrific time hanging out with him last week, and hope to talk to him again soon. Pop Culture Republic, Matthew Pounder. Matt G was here, of course. I think Matt G popped in. I'm imagining things, but I think he did. Ezra Goldstein, thank you for being here with us tonight. And of course, we can't go without our wonderful friend Anti-Derivative Jill was here. The great Captain Finity was here as well. Our new friend Michael Carney, Lord Liverpool, thank you for joining us. J.D. Lewis was here tonight. Let's see. We're getting there, folks. I know it's riveting radio doing this, but it's worth it. Worth to get everybody shouted out. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. See, again, this is the part,
We need a
Mark.
theme song for that.
We do. This is the part, Mark, where I go, I think I got everybody, because as soon as I say
And then
that,
we'll forget someone.
yeah, but we get to them. We always find one.
Yeah.
I go, oh, damn it, I thought I heard everybody. Like, for example, see, my memory sucks. The great Retro Blasting was here. Popped in and say hello. Love you guys. Retro Blasting is fantastic. And, of course, please subscribe to their channel if you haven't already, and all the other channels in my description below. Please, please, please.
And Clobby,
Yes, sir.
as you go out, because we do mess with each other a little bit, and I have one tiny disagreement with Maddie's daddy, a.k.a. Thor.
Yes.
When you do the closeout statement, I'd like it to be in your co-cell voice because I think it's brilliant.
Oh, you're too kind. I will. Donnie Pearson, thank you for being here with us tonight. Also, the great, our good buddy Oliver Billamonte was here. See, I told you, Mark, you thought I had them all, and then I didn't. I was blaming
for
for
a
that
second
too.
there. Hungry Boy's going to request out the Alan Moraine clip. I don't know if you played that tonight.
I did. So what now? The what?
The Alan Moraine
Now,
clip.
look, in defense of Hungry Boy, he would never request
You know, you Italian bastard, you're the lampwick to my Pinocchio, and you know what I mean.
Let's see here.
I couldn't resist. I needed to laugh.
Stunt Brat 777 Smith. Thank you so much for being here. I know Hungry Boy already mentioned you, but I wanted to thank you too as well. Thank you. Appreciate you.
She's great, people.
Wonderful. Wonderful lady. Let's see here. Almost. We're almost there. Now I think I almost got everybody, but I know I missed some.
Did you get Ironhide?
Call-El?
Ironhide 84. I haven't got to that one yet. Ironhide, thank you for being here with us. Hang on. Oh, the chat likes to
Thank you,
skip a
Stunty.
beat on me. I don't know if I got him, but sometimes I forget if I got somebody. So Matthew Pounder, thank you. Janet from Another Planet was here. Love you, Janet.
Yeah.
Damn it, Janet. I love you. Boom, 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 boom. I know everyone. I hope everyone gets that reference and just doesn't think of being even weirder than usual. I think I said Trevor.
it's not a. It's a pretty weird movie. So yeah, but
Well, yeah, but that's
Rocky
true.
Horror Picture Show for everyone.
Yeah. I think I said Trevor Cunningham, but we'll say it again just in case. Because Richie Cunningham couldn't make it.
And Chuck is long gone.
Huh?
Oh,
And Chuck
Fonzie-
is long gone.
By the way,
Chuck
Chuck
Cunningham.
is gone, but Fonzie was in Black Adam.
Oh.
Let's see here. He was. I'm not even kidding.
I did not see Black Adam yet.
Oh,
The
no,
missus
I
did not
spoiled
want to go
you.
see that. She did not want to see that for her anniversary.
There's a
I wonder
shocker. It was all right. I didn't mind it too much. I thought it was pretty
Okay.
decent. Yeah, I thought it was. I gave it a 6.5. That's pretty good, right?
why. Wow, better than
Not bad.
Shang-Chi.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that gets about a 0 for me. So, what do you think? Let's see, huh? Sunday, Monday, happy days. We need to Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Saturday. No, it's not. It's Keely Chow, roll tide. Hey, in 2 weeks, your tide's gonna roll all over my Tigers. I'm fairly sure.
And my son was
LSU. And
at
you're sitting at
Clemson,
Syracuse win?
Syracuse.
Was
No,
he at
they
Syracuse?
lost.
Oh, he went to that one. Oh,
He went to. He drove 14
I
hours.
saw
to see
part of
the
that game.
They were winning at the half.
that's funny.
Felt
Yeah, I
bad
saw
for
part
him.
of that game. I think we got Donnie Pearson. I think we got us. I think we got now. I'm almost confident that we've got everybody. Now that we got 70s. So we got. I'm gonna go way on a limb and say I've done it. Success. I've done it.
They got it.
Éxito. It's all you see. Success. They've done it. Werewolf Jeebus. Well, that's not fair. You just jumped in there. So good to see you, Werewolf Jesus. Good to see you there, buddy. So now I got everybody. So before we get out of here, Mark D, anything to plug, anything going on, and anything to.
Well, we'll get Toxic Tuesday tomorrow night, so hopefully my voice will hold out for that. But good to be back and great. You know, the vid couldn't stop me once I saw Hungry Boy was on there. I'm like, I don't feel that good, but I'm gonna try to pop on for a bit. So,
Oh, man, well, I'm glad you did, dude, because I'm glad you got the.
no, it's great to hang out. Yep. So, and then of course the clubhouse, and I'll be back for Sunday Night Geekery on Sunday night. So, and then maybe I'll do that Galactus unboxing, or Funko Pops unboxing, or Galactus unboxing. No, we'll do the Galactus unboxing.
I'll look. It's bad enough that I'm going to be being a traitor.
Yeah, Retro Blasting's gonna ban us.
Yeah. No, Retro Blasting is absolutely right. HasLab is poo-poo. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
I should be ashamed. I should be banished to the negative zone.
Yes, you should. Maybe that's the next HasLab, the negative zone.
The negative zone.
It's gonna be like a big, it's good like $2,000. It's like crowd-funded negative zone toy. It's just gonna be big like the blackness of space, and it's gonna be weird. I don't even know what I'm talking about. All right, well, welcome. Excuse me. Thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. I'm Loopy.
Cosell.
I'm sorry. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight on CLOBBERIN Times Monday night Moxie Comic Talk. Everybody, please enjoy these final messages and have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'm sorry, Steve. It is Hungry Boy's fault for this one. Good night, everybody, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
It's clobbering time.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
Damn it.
I just love clobbering time.
Night.